Waba no yenyu aso papa mo ye no efe even for free SHS ya we bo so mpo wan gu no mpo ono so ya ho amen sisi ekọ university first year no mpo o ye free no so ya ho amen nti why eduba do why be ya best wanya ma on se na mo fa me na na ese
Hello, what's that?
The young papa li be a young yet. They are saying I'm no man. No to me, Yamon Sinadam. The mums cannot broken, cannot down broken. Never be a oh, dollar, Stefano, or do baby no Jim Kay Chesina, Yan Sankan. Since I am an album, young papa Ben, young Cano do Melano dear. On some small broken man. There, I am sure you're young to Montoni, Yamin Strong.
Thank you very much. And I'm no one who have a foam kakra. Yegusu aye. This man ended it. Come on, ya bobu ama ya market ni ye na obi anso ofumu akon. I had a temporary problem but ya come on.
They are coming back is to do a lot of remedial touches on the steelworks because the project has been left for close to 2 years. So that's what they are basically working on, the corrections for the steel as well as for the purlins. They've been doing that since March. So in total, they are supposed to have 2,766 shops for all of the project. It includes 1,144 lockable stores. Also includes 15,586 counter shops and then 84 food shops.
So is there some somewhere or this is it?
No, we have not done any apart from a few of those samples on that side where you see the 2x4 by 2x4 shops.
Now we've captured it as part of the, what do you call it, the priority list. So we intend to restart it anytime soon. But the contractor is claiming costs outside the loan amount. But that will mean that Parliament will have to consider and approve that before we can come. And of course, because it's Parliament that gave you the mandate. So until they approve it, then it becomes difficult to add the plus. And so you have to go back, get Parliament buy-in to pay the plus, but the 48 can continue. You understand? So we are taking steps. But we recognize that the state has spent some money and it's worth completing. So we work to complete it.
So what you are seeing is this is there are 702 piles driven into the floor here. So the major part of the work is the piles that were driven, the earthworks that have been done, the steel structure that has been raised. The rest is block work and services, the mechanical and electrical services. So that forms that little part that is left. And some of that is also going to come from outside when they are bringing in the equipment that they need for the, how do you call it, the mechanical and electrical installations.
I just want to assure you that we've captured the project as a priority project of state, and from next year, the drawdown will begin and the job will continue. Even if, I'm sure give and take, it may be December, but because of Christmas, it's important I rather make a pronouncement for January after Christmas.
Thank you very much.
But it's good that we came to see this.
personal against him. Because even where there were personal issues that people were attacking his reputation, I was one of the few who stood.
Mr. Chairman.
So I'm not here to attack him.
Mr. Chairman.
And he knows I won't attack him. The caucus is talking about, please, Honorable Ayerga, let me finish. You were allowed to make your point.
Yes, but Honorable Minority Leader, just be brief.
Very well. The committee's work is what we are expressing an opinion on. And we are using very civil language to say that what it did amount to travesty of justice. It's as simple as that. So let me proceed. Chairman, unless the majority leader intends to frustrate everything that the minority has to say by way of its opinion, when did Parliament reduce to this? Where you have the right to say your own, you are the leader of the house. You have unfettered right to rebut. That is the debate we even have on the floor. When there's a debate, you take note. Where you think you disagree, when it gets your turn, you should also say that the committee's work did not amount to travesty of justice. Simplicity.
The rules are clear. What you can raise and what you cannot raise, and how you can raise it. I'll be surprised if after all these years in this parliament, you don't understand those rules. I'll be surprised. Yes, I intend to be offensive because he has told me that I am here to deliberately obstruct the minority. What did he say about that? To describe my conduct here as deliberately obstructing the minority when I'm trying to keep him to the rules. When you say the conduct of a judge, we're not talking about the personal conduct, who he slept with and who he didn't sleep with. We're talking about his work, how he conducted his work. You are saying that the committee conducted its work in an opaque manner. That's what you are saying. In darkness, that's what you are saying. And that the outcome of their work is a travesty of justice. That's what I'm saying. And you are not in court challenging the conduct of the committee. You are not. You as a person, you are not in court challenging the conduct of the committee. You know the rules in the Constitution regarding the work of the proceedings. You haven't shown at any stage that the rules in the Constitution governing the work of the committee have been breached in any way. How can you come and sit here and describe the work as opaque, travesty of justice, and improper removal, and etc., and expect me to sit here and allow you to do that?
And at the end of the day, on the matter of principle and what has transpired, there are matters pending up, some before the ECOWAS, some before other courts, and we have not exhausted them. And we think that until those processes are exhausted, it is not right for us to vet another Chief Justice. Nobody has anything against Justice Bafo-Boni personally. But on a matter of principle, we needed to abstain from this. And since we are going to vote against the processes anyway, I don't think there's, we have to give rise. We have to sit in and accommodate this give and take, especially when they have made up their mind that whatever we say, they are going to object to that, and that they will not let sanity prevail. So we thought that we should give peace a process. They have their majority, and in democracy, we say that the minority would always have a say, and the majority will have their way. But that is not what we are witnessing, and therefore we opt out from the proceedings. But it doesn't mean that we have voted against it en bloc. It doesn't mean that we have boycotted the proceedings, but we have voted against the nomination of Mr. Justice Bafo-Boni on a matter of principle. We all agreed, we had a meeting, I have my questions, that's why I have my file. The questions that we're going to ask, everybody has his questions to ask. He is going to be the Chief Justice of the whole nation, whether you are MPP or NDC or majority or minority. So it is for all of us to make sure that we get the best for the country.
We are always talking about a bunch of plantains, a crate of eggs. My mother is a Catholic, was a Catholic. I always tell this story. My mother was a Catholic. And you know, these old ladies, how when they said, in my time, the Catholic priest was a white person. So at the end of the year, my mother wants to go and then harvest a particular plantain that he has nurtured over the year. My mother was going to the farm every morning with a bent back. This young man was sitting under the shady tree. In our place, we call it in Kwankwanuase, playing drafts. Every day, my mother passed by him to go to the farm. Now, 1 year on, it is time for harvest. My mother wants to go and harvest the plantain to come and give to the reverend minister, the white priest, who speaks Latin. And then this young man has gone there. And you know, when they go there, they don't cut the plantain. They move it from the top. So my mother will walk all the way to the place before realizing that the plantain has been harvested. We sit in Accra here. When a magistrate at Gosu decides to send the boy to prison for 3 years, we sit in Accra here and say, the man stole only a bunch of plantains. Do you know what it means what the bunch of plantain means to my mother? It's like stealing your car. You see? So, I mean, there are so many reasons. The magistrates and the judge, they are trained. They have this, the sentencing guidelines. They have them. But sometimes they have to go beyond it. In my youthful days, I gave somebody 70 years. Atayi, I gave him 70 years. And what I told myself was that if Atayi was given 30 years and he comes back, my family will be the first family he will attack. So by the time he comes back after 70 years, I'll be dead and gone.
We would want to state on record that the majority can proceed with the questions. We do not intend to proceed with any question. We are, however, registering in the strongest terms that we reject the nomination, and the records should reflect that the report of this committee be a majority report.
Woman, comport yourself.
Honorable colleague, when we show you respect, reciprocate. So far, we have extended to you every courtesy. We've heard all those unpalatable words. We've heard the abuse. So please, for posterity's sake, listen to us. We don't need to vet a nominee before we vote against the nominee. We have preliminary issues well grounded in law. You may disagree with us. And we say that on the basis of that, we cannot be part of a process that would give right to another and deny another of her bona fide as enshrined in the Constitution. Chairman, that said, we would yield to you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room with our views well documented for the records, and on the floor we shall proceed with a debate further stating our position and take a vote against the nominee as required by the rules of the plenary. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader.
We are always talking about a bunch of plantains, a crate of eggs. My mother is a Catholic, was a Catholic. I always tell this story. My mother was a Catholic. And you know, these old ladies, how when they said, in my time, the Catholic priest was a white person. So at the end of the year, my mother wants to go and then harvest a particular plantain that he has nurtured over the year. My mother was going to the farm every morning with a bent back. This young man was sitting under the shady tree. In our place, we call it in Kwankwanuase, playing drafts. Every day, my mother passed by him to go to the farm. Now, 1 year on, it is time for harvest. My mother wants to go and harvest the plantain to come and give to the reverend minister, the white priest, who speaks Latin. And then this young man has gone there. And you know, when they go there, they don't cut the plantain. They move it from the top. So my mother will walk all the way to the place before realizing that the plantain has been harvested. We sit in Accra here. When a magistrate at Gosu decides to send the boy to prison for 3 years, we sit in Accra here and say the man stole only a bunch of plantains. Do you know what it means what the bunch of plantain means to my mother? It's like stealing your car. You see? So, I mean, there are so many reasons. The magistrates and the judge, they are trained. They have this, the sentencing guidelines. They have them. But sometimes they have to go beyond it. In my youthful days, I gave somebody 70 years. Atayi, I gave him 70 years. And what I told myself was that if Atayi was given 30 years and he comes back, my family will be the first family he will attack. So by the time he comes back after 70 years, I'll be dead and gone.
And the rules are clear. And I can assure you that I will not allow you to breach any inch of the rules today. No inch of the rules will I allow you to breach.
Let me respond to him. Chairman, let me respond to him. Let me, Chairman, let me respond to him.
You see, I cannot go and be giving you the opportunity when the person who is speaking is in the process of responding to the issue.
It doesn't fit in the rules.
Yes, Honourable Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman.
Honourable members, order.
Natural beauty, yeah. No, I've never been someone shy until I seen your eyes.
So we had to make short videos for you, Annie. And the way I like talking, you know I cannot make a short video. Anyway, my dearest soul sister, as your favorite handbag, I'm excited for you on your new journey. Annie would always have an issue with me. Annie would call me and ask, Sharita, did you take this thing of mine? I'm like, I haven't even been to the room. Yeah, so I mean, Annie is always like, she knows where everything of hers is. Anyway, I'm praying that this new journey you're embarking on, the Lord will favor you, that it will take you to higher and higher places. I'm praying that wherever you find yourself, the people around would experience you for themselves, just as you have done us. You are loving. I mean, you are a very lovely, the kindest person I've ever met. Yeah, the kindest person, I must say. I love you so much. Words will fail me. Words fail me when it comes to you. But I just hope for the best in all your endeavors. I love you. Mwah.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Edotom Boateng. 5 years ago, 2020, I met Annie on the job. And the first thing I told her was that I want to be her handbag. That is because I really wanted to learn a lot from her, which I actually have. 5 years down the line, it's been nothing short of great experience. Annie is a perfectionist. If you know who Annie is, you really know that she's a perfectionist. And I'm so excited that I got to know her, that I've learned at her feet. And then the drills, the cries, the laughter, the advice, I mean, the calls, everything. I'm super excited that I got to work with Annie. And now that she's leaving, I'm so sad. But I'm so excited at the same time because, hey, the sky is the limit. I love you so much, Annie. I really, really love you. And then I wish you all the best. I love you so much. And I think I need to write a memoir about Annie and I because, gosh, it's a roller coaster of a journey. Take care, Annie. I love you so much. Bye.
It's a lovely day today, and I wanted to share my heart to Annie Ifua Ampofo. I've been working with Ifua Ampofo. At times we quarrel, but after quarreling, then the work goes on. It's a lovely sister, and I love her so much. Wherever he's going, may God bless her and take her safely to where he's going. Thank you.
I can't get the words that how to speak to Annie, but for Annie, the work must go on. You push it to your limit. When it comes to joke, we will all play together. But when it comes to work, you have trouble with Annie. The front and back, go and pick graphics. Why does this shot this? Why is this sound this? By the end, he want a perfect job. And I wish him well. We will remember him. We will never forget him. But the quarry, Bobana, what's it called? Charlie, we girls.
My name is Mohammed Tonado. To my big sister Annie, I say congratulations to you. I wish you the very best in life. And I have known Annie for the past 4 years. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree on certain issues. But then all the same, you're a wonderful person, a great leader, and a good advisor. Thank you very much. We love you all, Annie.
I'm Kiki, the unbiological little brother of Annie, just some of you know. She's a big sister I never had, and she's someone who takes care of everyone around her. She's a sweet person, kind, loving, but annoying sometimes during production, you know. As for that, you can't take it out. You can't take it out at all because when it comes to production, she's a different kind of person. Yeah, but when it comes to, when you want to know her outside production, she's sweet, she's loving. But when it comes to production, she's different. And there's so many times we fought. Sometimes we'll not talk the whole day during production till like the next day. They will start talking and laughing about it and all that. She's someone who likes perfection. Yes, so she's a perfectionist who likes everything to go perfectly well. So when you're working with her, it's just crazy. So you just have to be on your feet and all that. And she has really taught me so much. Yeah, she has taught me so much, and she has made me who I am today because I wasn't really enjoying production, but because of Annie, I've enjoyed production. She has made me think like a host, like a producer, like a politician. Made me to love politics too, yeah. And I remember the first day Annie came to Metro at Old Metro TV, Alaboni, and the first day she came, there was a chair beside me where I was sitting. She just gave me her bag, as if we knew that 5 years later or 4 years later I would be so close. Because when she gave me her bag, she was like, I should watch it for her. I mean, it was around the COVID time, and I think the guests on the show were not having nose masks. Then she was like, oh, please go to my car and take nose masks. I have extra nose masks in my car. Can you take it from me and bring it? Since then, it has never stopped till today. 2025, it's still the same. We are still doing that here. I can still go to her car to pick up stuff for her and all that. And it's been a lovely ride of brother and sister vibe with her. And I'm so glad and I'm happy for her for this opportunity. Just that I'll miss not seeing her every day because I can't come to the office and not see Annie and hear her voice. It's going to be crazy. So, Annie, I wish you all the best and I hope to be hearing from you every single day. Send me pictures like you always do. Bye-bye.
So I just want to say congratulations to Annie Efo-Ampafo for his new era. I'm so happy for her. And I ask God to continue to bless her in every part that he goes. And I just want to say something a little like about Annie Efo-Ampafo. Working with her is so marvelous. Like, it's so fun. He's always like active. He will put you on your toes to do things that sometimes you realize like, Annie, you are disturbing, and you tell Jenny, do it. And
government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke.
It's a very serious matter, eh? Yeah, so that's one of it. Hello, good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Let me say a very good morning once again to you and thank you very much for joining the show. This is Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Awudu Moro. Today is 11th of November 2025. It's a Tuesday and this is the day the Lord has made. We're grateful that we're still alive and kicking, and we're back again to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. I'll go straight ahead and look at the front pages of the various newspapers that we have received this morning. And as usual, I'll start with the Daily Graphic. The Daily Graphic this morning is reporting that courts will serve all fairly. CJ nominee pledges at vetting. SLTF increases students' loan by 50%. Nation's oil industry facing sharp decline, Energy Minister warns. Ghana signs 6th bilateral debt agreement with Germany. That's for the Daily Graphic for today. The Daily Guide says that Ghana Police, the Nigerian counterpart, planned task force. Minority boycott CJ nominee amid drama. As GJA calls for Minshia declaration to end Galamsey, jailed coup plotter gets 2.5 million cedis bail. And there's Telecel Group, Huawei sign MOU to advance network modernization. The Ghanaian Times. My nomination is meritorious, Action CJ states. GIPC CEO elected WAIPA Regional Director for Sub-Saharan Africa wins 2025 Aftercare Excellence Award. There's Don't Fear Losing Votes, be decisive against Galamsey, as Santahini tells government. Government approves 9% public pay rise for public sector workers, minimum wage up by 21.77 cedis. That's for the Ghanaian Times. The Daily Searchlight. NPP is gravely concerned about the nomination of Justice Paul Bafuboni as Chief Justice, and there's we can't jail our way out of Galamsey. Small-scale miners warned government. State Housing Company Limited to roll out its 24-hour premium and express service center. And SkyTrain case, key witness quizzed over poor attention to detail. That's for the Daily Searchlight. All right, so that's it for the papers that we have this morning. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. Don't go anywhere.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
I'm a branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calkits. Happy smile.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Huh?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obeying later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the pure cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be lucky, luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya, God, the apple boom. If you're poor, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, Mommy, simple dilution. Mr. Good Luck no check me way.
Eh?
Yeah, man.
Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompts. Yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like serving.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family permission? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question. How do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejikum Donko and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025, from the farm to the court, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it will be an honor to host you.
You're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. Remember that you can watch the show. In fact, you can listen to the show on 94.1 FM. That's you can monitor us on 94.1 FM. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. That if you can't watch us on TV, at least you can monitor us on radio. So my guests are seated, and we surely, inshallah, would kickstart with our conversation this morning. And one of them is a regular. He's been with us for many, many, many years, and he is a youth activist and somebody who is very passionate about his constituents as well. I'm talking about the young man who is about the big brains, talking about Eric Edem-Agbana, who is the MP for the people of Ketu North constituency. He's also a member of the Education Committee of Parliament and also a member of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament as well. Good morning, Edem, and good to see you.
Bro, good morning. It's been a few weeks.
You went AWOL, eh?
Yes, by God's grace. Well, let me say good morning to my senior, the Honorable Hassan Tampoli, and also to our cherished viewers, especially to the good people of Ketu North. I'm grateful to them for the support and all the love that they continue to show me as their representative here in Parliament.
Okay. Also joining us is somebody who in fact, I had to talk to him. I had to ask him about whether this was his first time on the show. And he says, yes, it's his first time on Good Morning Ghana. And that basically he's happy to be here. I'm talking about the man who... he made history. Because he's occupying a seat which traditionally has been a seat of the NDC. Not many people give him a dog's chance, but he said he'll do it, and he's done it. I'm talking about the Honorable Sulaiman Tampoli Al-Hassan. He's the MP for the people, the good people of Gushe. He loves them. He's passionate about them as well. Honorable, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
It's also good to have you join us.
My pleasure.
Right.
My pleasure.
Let me also state that Alhassan Tampoli, as we officially call him, is also the former Chief Executive Officer of the NPA, the National Petroleum Authority, and that's from 2021, I believe, to 2024.
2017.
Yes, to 2020, exactly. Yeah. And then from 2021 to 2024, he was appointed as a Deputy Transport Minister, of course, under the Etwal administration. And he's a two-term member of Parliament. We don't know whether he would want to go again or not. I'm sure that it's a decision at some point he would have to make. But I do know that he serves on 3 committees in Parliament. He's a deputy ranking member on the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. Of course, he's been a private legal practitioner for many years, and so it doesn't come to some of us as a surprise. He's also a ranking member on the Assurance Committee of Parliament. And also the Transport Committee. Right?
Deputy ranking on transport as well.
Deputy ranking on roads and transport. And so you are serving on 3 different committees. Yes. I'm wondering how you're able to navigate your way around that. It must be difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, but you just have to find a way, because the rules require that you should serve not less than 2 committees.
Oh, okay.
You must be on at least 1 standing committee, and you must be on at least 1 select committee.
Oh, okay.
So assurances committee is a standing committee, just like public, what's the name? Appointments committee and so on and so forth. So you will serve on one standing and then one select committee minimum, but you can serve on as many committees as your expertise may draw you.
Before I even, as I do here traditionally, when you're a member of parliament and you show up on the show, at least the few times that you would be on the show would ask about how your constituents are doing and whether there are any issues that you'd want to bring to the fore. But before we do that, I don't know how the feeling is like being on the show for the first time.
Well, I feel great, and I feel great, and more or less in the company of my brothers. You know,
it's a family affair.
It's a family affair, more or less. Because the last time we met in the studio, you were with another, sister station, and as for them, he and I. We come a long way. In fact, he has a very special relationship with one of my buddies. And
okay.
Even yesterday, 3 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah,
2 days ago.
They were together?
Yeah, they were together.
Are you sure you don't put some sad life on your wife? The money time they do.
But let me say good morning to the good and virtuous people of Gushegu, my constituents. And I send my best regards to Gushena, the Gushalimam, and all the elders of Gushegu. In particular, the youth who have stood by me, over the years. Like they see me as a very special character. The minute I walk into Gushegu, the chemistry changes, and I see the love that they show to me. And my love for them is way higher than the love they have for me. Good morning to you. Mpuri apam ni tuma ni pangmanga na ono song. Mpuri apam kapai.
Before you even go ahead, I think Metro TV is very, 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 very popular in the northern part of Ghana. Extremely popular in the northern part of Ghana.
It's difficult for
and I think it's because of that's just my theory. Because of the number of Islamic programs that we churned out from the beginning under the, how do you call it? Back in the day.
That's right.
It's. I think that's what has won the people of the north over towards
and
they've stayed very loyal.
Viewership. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
It's hard for you to go around visiting people in the morning and not see them tune into Metro TV.
Yes.
Yeah, in and around the north generally. Tamale, Yendi, Gushegu, and so on and so forth. You find them most of the time tuning to Metro TV.
And I must say that we love them back.
You see? So the love is mutual.
We really appreciate the loyalty.
The love is mutual. Yeah. And to my very special brother here, Honorable Edem Agbana, he's just coming to Parliament and he's making waves. And I think that the people of Ketu North have made a very good choice. And I wish him all the best as he navigates the hassles and bustles of the hallowed chamber. He's doing well. He's doing very, very well. But he has to be a good boy sometimes. He's too much of a
hard guy. We call him Adam, hard guy. Call him no bagawaya. No bagawaya. Sure. Anyway, so how has the experience been like as a member of Parliament for Gusha? I mean, traditionally we all know Gusha has been an NDC seat, and you were able to do what some people thought, your skeptics thought you couldn't do, and you've done it for 8 years, almost 8 years. For 5 years, basically, right?
Yes.
So you are. Hopefully, you should be able to end or do 2 terms, and then, of course, if you want to go again, nothing would stop you. How has the experience been like being a member of a parliament of a seat that traditionally is not your seat? I mean, is there more pressure?
So, as a matter of fact, Gushegu is not. It's a swing seat, if you like. Of course, from 92, 96, NDC won. 2000, we came very close. 2004, we won it for the first time. And it used to be Gushegu Karaga. Those days, 92 to 96. And then it was split in 2004. Gushegu separate from Karaga. And that's when we won it for the first time. And in 2008, we lost it again in 2012. And since 2016, we've been winning it. So Dr. Zebulon Medi won it in 2016 for the MPP. Then I retained it for the MPP in 2020, and then retain it again in 2020. So we've won 3 times in a row, which hasn't happened before since the Constitution was created, more or less decoupled from Karaga. Since 2004, NDC has won it twice. We have won it thrice.
Okay. Then it's no more a traditional NDC.
Yeah, it's firm.
It's more like a swing seat.
It's grounded in an MPP. Right. Yeah, where MDC used to have their strength was Karaga, but there Dr. Amin Anta, former finance minister, has locked it down. So it's also a no-go area for the NDC. So there are very few strongholds in that enclave.
How's the constituency doing?
My constituency is good. I think that by and large, you find that a lot of constituencies will be clamoring for roads and so on and so forth. Even under this regime, you would have, seen that some people will be asking for roads, but it's not the case in Gushegu, because we did quite a lot in terms of the road infrastructure. All right. So we did quite a lot. It's difficult for us to even start talking about roads now, because Gushegu Township roads, which hitherto was just, dusty and all of that, I think that almost 11 to 12 kilometers have been tarred.
Okay.
In the entire township. Places where there used not to even be a road, we've opened those places, tarred them, and so on and so forth. And the evidence is there in Gushegu Township. All right. From Tamale all the way to Gushegu, you could travel that distance and do about 4 to 5 hours. These days, it takes less than 1 hour from Tamale to Gushegu, because the road has been done all the way from Tamale through Nantong, through Karaga, all the way to Gushegu. You understand? And a lot of communities, I mean, there were places that there was never a road, like it was a footpath. We've opened those places. It's a 30-kilometer road that we have done from Galloway all the way to Katanga, which used not to be the case. And in fact, it's a very major food basket. And so when I go around the constituency, sometimes I go there in the evening and I see trucks parked to load, grains. I get a lot of satisfaction. These are some of the interventions that we have made, which have become very impactful. So I see long trailers, and I just said to myself, look, a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, no motorbike could even have passed here.
Right.
Today, look at these trailers. And you know what that has done to our food security and sustainability? You understand? When the people are able to commute easily. And before I became a member of parliament, we had about 32 communities connected to the national grid. And by the time that I ended my term in 2024, I had connected 50 communities to the national grid. All right, and Gushegu first got connected to the national grid in 1996.
Right.
So between 1996 and 2000, we had 32 communities. And then within 4 years, we did 50 communities. And we are still doing some more. You understand? So when you do some of these things and you feel the impacts that has been put on the people, you get a lot of satisfaction. Right now, there's no medical student who can go to school without my intervention. If you are a medical student, you come from Gushegu, your fees will be paid in full.
Okay.
You're a law student, you come from Gushegu, your fees will be paid in full. If you are an engineering student, you come from Gushegu, your fees will be paid in full.
How are you funding that?
Because I want to encourage more, because I do not have a lot of doctors. I do not have a lot of lawyers. I do not have a lot of engineers.
Well, how are you funding that?
Fund it through support from, fundraising activities, all right? I get support also from the MPC of the Common Fund, Education Fund, and so on and so forth. So different, areas of, resource interventions aimed at developing the people, so that one day when I'm not there, the legacy will be there. I think more about legacy than anything. I want to leave the stage to be said that, yes, these are people that you supported, to become who they are. These are communities that never had electricity, and through your intervention, they had electricity. These are communities that never had a road, never seen a car pass there before. For the first time, cars are passing by. You understand? So I go and connect some communities to the national grid, and I pass there deliberately in the evening to see the feeling. They don't even sleep that day. Because this is the first time that they are seeing bulb, lights in their community. They sit down till daybreak, they dance, they sing, chant. Now, between you and I, in sitting in Accra or wherever we find ourselves where there is electricity, imagine when the light goes off for 30 minutes or 1 hour, what we go through. And these guys have been in darkness for their entire life. Their great-grandparents, all of them have been in darkness, and for the first time. So when you make some of these interventions, you get a sense of satisfaction that have made an impact in the life of the people. And for me, as an MP, that is what gives me a lot of encouragement to continue to do more and to wake up in the morning thinking that, okay, I'm happy with myself, all right, because my people are happy. Development is a process. You understand? It's not an event. So naturally, some people wouldn't have gotten their share. And so we continue, but by the way we have started, there's evidence to show that, okay, the pace at which we are moving, we are likely to do more. I look forward to serving them, you know, with great humility and with the integrity available to me, and to make Gushegu a better place.
Now, speaking about the doctors that you were given, or your awarding scholarship, you are given scholarship to pursue their
studies.
Their studies. What is the target? So first of all, how many doctors have you produced, and what's the target?
That's the problem, because we don't have them, you understand? And so we have to be intentional about getting more. So we support them, you know, naturally those who are high flying from the SHS, as soon as you find somebody, you know, scoring all the grades and desirous of going to do medicine, of course we encourage you to do medicine. Normally, some of them wouldn't have gone for medicine because of inability to pay. So we are encouraging you and encouraging the parents that allow your children to choose medicine. Allow them to choose law, engineering, and we'll make an intervention and see to it that even though you can't afford it, there's somebody who will be able to support you so that your child one day will become a medical doctor. Not just for the family, but for the entire...
I get it. But I guess that because you talked about legacy, that you want to leave a legacy.
Right.
Before someday, something there must be something that people say about you. And I'm asking if you have a target, say, okay, me, Hassan Tampoli, by the time I'm done with my tenure, whether 8 years, 16 years, whether 20 years, 24 years, I want to produce X number of doctors as part of my KPIs.
That's right.
You know, that's what I'm asking. Whether do you have a target?
It's difficult to have that as a KPI because it comes from the hard work of the students. But what we do is to stand at the gates, more or less at the farm gates. If you are able to harvest well, I'll buy it for you. That's the assurance that we're giving them. So it serves as an incentive. So those who probably thought that maybe, even if I work hard and then I want to do medicine, my parents can't pay. Now is the time for you to think positive. That if you are able to do well and then you come out with flying colors, you meet the requirements, why not? Somebody who...
So you're saying that the entire Gushegu constituency has not been able to produce one medical doctor?
Oh, we have
some medical doctors.
Some in the past.
I'm talking about those who have had to come out through the intervention of an MP.
That's right.
Even one.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I haven't done that research, but it is a project that I've given to myself. That I think that we should be able to. Yes, but the feeling is very different, especially when the student is coming from a very remote community, and you just don't, see it well until you look at the situation where the child's school is in a rural community where there's no electricity. They don't even have access to internet. Then they're supposed to use lanterns to study, and this child is able to make it and pass and gets the grades to go to the university. That is epic. You understand? So with a little more support, the child can even do far better than they are doing. Yeah.
Adam, you have done all kinds of interventions. I don't know whether the health sector, producing medical doctors, is one of the interventions you're also doing in your constituency. But generally, how are your people doing?
Well, Moro, Ketunov is fine. We are still united as a constituency, pursuing a number of projects. As we speak, exactly a week today, we had a program where the charity Gale Foundation for Education is partnering with my office to build an ultra-modern, multi-purpose education resource center. We want the resource center to have an ICT lab, a science lab, and a library, a learning center for learners. And so we did a short cutting last week, Monday, and we have started with a project. We are still raising funds or resources to pursue. You know, listening to my senior, it is true that when you strictly go by what is prescribed in the Constitution, these things are not supposed to be the responsibilities of members of Parliament. Ours is to stay in Parliament and legislate and provide oversight responsibilities for the other arms of government. But looking at the socio-economic conditions of our constituencies, as they are representative, you have no other option than to always go out there and be asking for development. I mean, among us in Parliament, sometimes there's a joke that MPs are more or less, we have become beggars because he has to be talking to his friends to support him to be able to pay school fees for these medical doctors he wants to produce and lawyers. He has to talk to his friends to support him so they can. So we are always going. I mean, on Friday, for example, I'll be cutting short together with Pencils of Promise for some classroom blocks in my constituency. And the number of times I had to, you know, call on Pencils of Promise, because they also don't just have the resources sitting there. They also have development partners that they have to take their proposals to. And also, Moro, it's a very difficult job, but when you are passionate about it and you are committed, you do it, and it appears as though it is so easy to do, but it's not that easy to lobby for these development projects and all of that. So we are on it. Talking about roads, it's a major concern for me as a member of Parliament. And the member of Parliament for Tamale North, the Deputy Minister for Roads, and his boss, the Minister for Roads, the Honorable Agboja, can tell you the number of times that MPs are always, going to their office begging for some roads because they are also limited by resources. I recall last week, I nearly cried to the Honorable Minister for Roads about a particular road in my constituency that I think that the project has delayed. Is the Ehi to Joje Road. And I had to show them pictures of how when it rains, the entire places and why there's a need to have urgent. I mean, if my own resources could support, maybe I would have been able to do it. But always you have to be on the move, begging, pleading with institutions, support. You have to go to Get Fund and beg that ABCD be done for your constituency. You know, it's not an easy thing, but we are on it. And by God's grace, we've made some significant progress with some of the projects. At a good time, we'll have a conversation on our ICT project that we're doing with the Charity Gale Foundation. We are currently putting together a website so we can have timely updates on how the project is. As we speak today, close to 500 bags of cement already. We have used that to mold blocks. People have donated trips of sand. People have donated water. Some people are donating money. There's a journalist in the region, Faisal, who last week just called out of the blue and said, bro, I've seen what you guys want to do in Ehi. I'm supporting with 1,000 Ghana cedis. And so people are supporting. Another blogger, Volta Today, also said, because when people see the vision and they can align with it and they trust that their support will be used for the purpose, people are willing to support. So, Moro, it's not been an easy journey, but 10 months in office, the good people of Ketu North are the best judges. They are the best people to judge whether or not we are doing. But if I listen to the sentiments on the ground, and if I'm allowed to talk about my own progress, I can say to a large extent that yes, less than a year, but we've made significant progress, and the coming year we expect to do more. On Thursday, the Minister of Finance will come to. Is this the road you were talking about? There's a so this is Joje actually, but there's a Joje to a He road. Okay. That is terrible. It passes through Kuli and those areas. Moro, the road is just 10 kilometers road, and if that road is constructed, it will help a lot. Okay. But it's not been easy to get because lack of resources. And when you go to the Minister of Roads, sometimes you go there, you go to their office, and you have no less than 20, 30 MPs in a queue waiting to see them, because everybody is there to lobby for something in their concern. You go to Ministry of Energy, to lobby for electrification projects and all of that. Because you see, the truth is that it is the desire of John Jinapor to ensure every community is connected to the national grid. But the resources will not permit so. So at a point, it has to become a decision of how do we allocate? How do we do the resource allocation? So everybody has to lobby. So you go, you also beg and give him reasons why this particular community should be part of the communities to be considered. And you are not the only person lobbying. Other MPs are also there. Their colleague ministers are also lobbying. You have to go to Minister for Education and beg that come to this school. We need hostel, we need dormitory blocks or classroom blocks. We need furniture. We need pickup for the schools. Moro, it is not an easy journey. Meanwhile, when you look at how even resources are allocated, MPs receive the list. Some time ago, I think in the 8th Parliament, some MPs were of the view that government should even stop giving the MPs Common Fund, because people hear MPs Common Fund, and to them, they think it is some big money. But Moro, being in Parliament, I can tell you that what comes to us in a year as MPs Common Fund is not enough to even put up a 6-unit classroom block. Yeah. One 6-unit classroom block. Wow. But out of that, you are expected to attend to educational needs and other issues, community development. Communities are even building their own self-help projects, some community centers, chiefs compounds, and everybody falls on the MP. And you know why? It is because the MP is the person that is elected. That is why some people are of the view that when MCs or DCs are elected, it may pass on they may pass on some of the problem, because they have a larger yes. They have the war chest. Yeah, they have the war chest. They are allocated much more for these development projects. But you see, the MC or the DC did not go to the people asking for their vote. And so the people don't or may not even know him. They feel that the MC is not accountable to them. But you, the MP, you went to them for their vote. And so when you go back to them... I think finally we got the Ehi road. Yes. This is it. I think this is a very good image of it. Yeah, the Ehi road. That exactly it. And more, when it rains... Whoa. Especially from the Kuli Jogbepime angle to Moro, it's terrible. It is terrible. And I sometimes as MP, out of frustration, I drive on that road just to see what my people are going through. And it's bad. It's not easy.
And I'm sure that there's more pressure because your party is in government.
Exactly. When your party is in government, there's more pressure, because in opposition, the excuse may be that it is not our party that is in and all of that. But I'm hopeful. The last time I met the Honorable Kwame Agboja, the responses that I got from him and his deputy, I am rest assured that in 2026 that road will be attended to. But Moro, I also must use this opportunity to commend the roads minister. My constituency is also benefiting from the Big Push project. As I speak, when you go to Penny, from Penny to Toko Road, I don't know the contractor on the road. I sincerely have never spoken to the contractor. I don't know the name of the company. But whoever is on that road, I've already told the roads minister, the contractor deserves commendation. The seriousness with which they are working, the zeal when you get there. I have been there a couple of times, and they are working so hard.
A local contractor?
Yeah, no, they are not a local contractor. No, but
contractor.
the Ghanaian contractor.
Okay.
I am told they are Ghanaian contractors, but I don't know the person or the company. But they have been working from Penny towards Toko, and the project is ongoing. In fact, the whole to Toko Road, which is the economic corridor road under the big push, is one of the major interventions. When this project is completed, it will change the face of the Volta region in many ways. It will change the face of Volta region. It is a road that connects about 6 or 7 constituencies: Ketu South, Ketu North, Akachi North, Agotime, Ziopi constituency, Adaklu, and into whole Central. It's a very important road, and I'm happy that they are on it.
The road minister's constituency is in that enclave.
Yeah, it's also
of course, he's sharing it within that area, so
no. In actual fact,
he doesn't want to do it in his constituency alone. So you guys are getting
that road. It was a major promise by His Excellency.
So where from this conspiracy theory? Where from this conspiracy theory?
Syria just wants to be.
No, please go ahead.
No, I mean that road is a major road for us in the Volta region, and we are happy that work is progressing steadily on the road. We are told by His Excellency the President that it will take 24 months for that project to be completed, and that's why they divided it among 4 contractors. And I think it was a good idea to divide the entire stretch among 4 contractors, and all of them are working. All 4 of them are working. I passed by the stretch that First Sky was working on, and I saw that they were also doing a great job. For me, we want to see quality roads.
Okay.
We want to see roads that have economic values, because that whole stretch, Moro, when you come to my constituency, for example, we produce rice on large scale. And if you are done producing and you do not even have access to market,
that's right.
It is difficult. So we need these roads to be done for us. And I am pleading that the other roads, the Eki to Joje, Eki to Agbozume, those other roads should also be given some attention, so that we can connect the entire economic zone with the projects that are ongoing. So, Moro, being MP is not easy, but we love what we're doing and we are passionate about it. You know, we are at a workshop over the weekend. Many of the seniors are telling us they are tired. You know, you are one, those of us who have just entered. A number of seniors told me they are not going to contest again because they are tired.
Wow. Yeah. And as for Hassan Tampoli, his pressure has come down relatively. Because at least he can tell his people that, look, my party is not in power, so be patient. You know, but anyway, so there are 2 things I need to say before we take a short break. So there's a gentleman called Kadiago Salman. I've known him for some time. Yes. He works with an MP. Yeah. He's just telling you that apparently you are his big brother. I had no idea. I said, I see he's a very small one.
He's a very troublesome
He said I should say hello to you. And then also, you know, Robert Coleman.
Ah, okay.
You know, as for him, he's more or less a shareholder of not just Good Morning Ghana, but the entire Metro TV. So you two apparently Coleman
he's supposed to come and cut sword for the
okay, so
he said we should do it.
I have good news for you.
He said we should do it in January.
He says I should tell you.
Tell you to update you on mine as well.
As well. Remember.
He said
I should tell you.
Yes.
That finally, he said I said it 3 times.
Yes.
He's ready. He and his team are ready.
Very well.
And that I should tell you that come rain, come shine, next month, first week, December, you'll see him at your constituency.
Well, my constituents are watching and they'll be happy. You know, the AstroTurf is a major thing for me.
Yeah.
And Coleman has done so well for me. Beyond just being coming out with a design and what he wants to do, he has actually helped in securing the funds for the project.
Okay.
And that's amazing.
Really? So it's going
I
to
would say more.
So he's going to pre-finance it.
No,
He has a
not
way.
necessarily. He has a way.
He has a way.
Oh, he has a way.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But we'll do the
It's a
shortcut.
typical entrepreneur.
So next month,
and-
first week next month, he will come and have a look at the particular site, the land that we are giving for the project. And in January, they will cut sort and work will commence. According to him, when he gets to site for commencement of work, they are not withdrawing until the project is completed.
Okay.
So my people can be rest assured that the AstroTurf, we will build it by God's grace.
Okay.
Thanks to Coleman and some generous people who are willing to
In
support.
fact, there's more goodies in the bag. He said I should tell you that Stephen Appiah, Tornado, Capito himself, and Lai Kingston, coach, player coach, will all be there to basically commission the AstroTurf, and beyond that, to help you unearth talent in your constituency. So I should tell you that there's a lot more in the good. There's a lot more goodies coming.
My Christmas just came early on your show, and then when he says it, I believe it because I have a good relationship with Tornado, thanks to Coleman, and also my team, Nukunu Sports Academy.
Okay.
It was Lai Kingston and Ajiman Bedu.
Okay.
Again, through Coleman, they actually did the scouting for the establishment of the team.
Oh, okay.
And so Lai Kingston has been very involved. Ajiman Bedu has been very involved, and they've been very supportive. So Nukunu basically belongs to them. They bet the entire team, and so I'm happy that we are going to do this again. I'm grateful. My appreciations to them.
So the people have a lot of football godfathers.
Yes.
As your sports godfathers. That's what Hassan says. Right. I should tell you. In fact, you also a Vandal, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're a Vandal.
Associate
Vandal.
Okay.
So is that your case? One of the reasons why he's very much interested in helping you, supporting you, is because you're a Vandal, you're a V-mate.
Of course, we are V-mates.
And so the spirit lives on.
Sharp.
Anyway, so...
We are done. Just a few things.
That's what he said. So you're almost done. In fact, he said, we will finish soon. I can just read.
Yeah.
So, in fact, he says it's ready. And I should tell you that it's just a matter of time. It will be fully
He's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, no, Coleman is he's a fantastic man. He's a fantastic guy. Anyway, so on this Robert Coleman note, please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking Publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Abusiafo ye mama kwaba eba Children's Palace. Nkwala nyema nyina fie enye. Yonkwala ntade mani mema nyina ntare nyina wase. Yonkwala shoes, yonkwala duane, yonkwala wipes, yonkwala diapers, yonkwala toys, baby coat. In fact, bibia opama omanyina obenye biwa ase.
Located at East Legon Hills, Nana Chrome KFC. Contact us on 059 6377 172. Children's Palace. Happy children, happy fashion. See you soon. Bye bye.
Ama. Nansi mi general well-being enko ye kwao. Amama ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oyiwa. Enye mo ko. Give us JC mixture and the capsules. Aye num boom. En ho asem na mo kana. E boa emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye be masima. Ya we be boa wukru ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum na wanyinya ne nim tisese ne oyi chokwa. GC mixture and then a capsule. Achesa.
A painful battle, one more menu for one and Quadawi if you do me.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Freddy Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Freddy once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action.
Sasso spray. Mr. Freddy Sasso quell.
Yeah, go to my
Come and tum preco.
Step into a world of excellence with Gold Key Properties, Ghana's premium real estate developer since 1997. From luxurious residences to Grade A commercial spaces, we have spent close to 3 decades shaping the skyline and transforming the way people live and work. Join us at the upcoming Mikasa Home and Property Fair 2025 on the 5th and 6th of December at the Icon Event Center, East Legon, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come meet the team, ask all your real estate questions, and enjoy special discounts. See you there. Gold Key Properties, transforming the landscape.
Right, you're live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. Thank you very much for staying with us. It's always a pleasure knowing that you're staying with the show. I'm here with Alhassan Tampoli, who's MP for Gusau, and also a former Chief Executive Officer of MPA, a former Deputy Transport Minister. He's here with us. He's also a member of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament, and so that should tell you where he's going to come from as far as our next issue is concerned. He's a private legal practitioner as well. Eric Edem Agbana, he's also MP for the good people of Ketu North constituency, a member of the Education Committee and Public Accounts Committee as well. So let's now look into, gentlemen, a matter which happened in Parliament. Of course, it was something that a lot of Ghanaians were looking up to, obviously because of the times, the circumstances in which the former Chief Executive is for the former CJ, sorry about that, Justice Gertrude Torkornoo had to leave or was actually axed from her position as the Chief Justice. And so a lot of people were looking up to Parliament or looking forward to knowing who the next Chief Justice was going to be, whether he was going to be confirmed or not. But of course, we knew it was going to be explosive, but we didn't know it was that dramatic, what we saw in Parliament, where it appears that the vetting committee was split, in the middle, along partisan lines, and so leading to what some would say is a walkout, some say it's a boycott. There are all kinds of technical definitions, whether it was a walkout or boycott. I have my own, take on that, but that's not really my main issue for today. But if you look at today's daily graphic, it captures it for me, how everything unfolded yesterday in Parliament. And the daily graphic this morning says, court will serve all fairly. CJ nominee pledges at vetting. Now, Justice Agbenosi and Dixon Walanyo Doche in Parliament are reporting that if confirmed, I will stand with every judge, staff, court user and citizen in the belief that access to justice should not depend on who you are or your connections. According to Chief Justice nominee, Justice Paul Bafuboni has stated, it does not matter who you are once it comes to the law. It is no discriminator of persons. That has been my lifestyle. And if anybody is to go through my file, this is what we'll come up with. He told Parliament's Appointment Committee yesterday, Justice Bafuboni, who has been on the Supreme Court's bench for the past 18 years, was being vetted by the committee following his nomination by the President to succeed former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. He explains that the nation needed a judiciary that did not just interpret the law but was capable of elevating its conscience. In his opening remarks, Justice Bafuboni pledged to lead far-reaching judicial reforms anchored on transparency, efficiency, and access to justice. It states that the country's judiciary was at a defining moment and the time had come to renew public trust and institutional credibility. The acting Chief Justice acknowledged the widespread public skepticism towards the judiciary, saying it intended to restore confidence by building a justice system that not only interprets the law but elevates the nation's conscience. And it says he promised to strengthen procedural clarity and predictability in adjudication, promote administrative efficiency, and ensure open justice for all, emphasizing that the judiciary was not a political actor but a guardian of rights and the final arbiter of the rule of law. Addressing concerns about his nomination, Justice Bafuboni downplayed suggestions that it was a reward for his role in the 2012 election petition, where he ruled in favor of the sitting president at the time, and now President John Dramani Mahama, stating, I wouldn't know what goes on the president's mind. The nominee dismissed the claim, insisting that his elevation was the result of merit and long service, not political patronage. Now, he went on and on, but there was some, I said, drama that preceded the vetting itself, and which led to the minority boycotting the CJ vetting process. The story captures it on the Daily Guide, captures on page 6. Yes. Now it says that the okay. Let me look at this. Oh, Daily Graphic. I thought I saw this story here. Okay. Good. So Ernest Kofi Addo in Parliament says the vetting of Chief Justice nominee Justice Paul Bafuboni in Parliament yesterday was marred by controversy and drama, culminating in a boycott by the minority caucus after heated exchanges over the attempt to make preliminary comment. The session held by the Appointment Committee began on a tense note when the minority leader Alexander Fenyomakin, who is also the ranking member of the committee, sought to make opening remarks outlining his side's reservations about the process. However, the majority leader Mahama Yarga objected, insisting that the matter had already been dealt with in Parliament through an earlier motion and that the vetting was not a forum for political commentary. Tensions escalated when Mr. Afenyomakin referred to Justice Bafoboni as a disputed Chief Justice nominee, a description that immediately drew a protest from the majority side. Mr. Ayerga challenged the characterization, arguing that it prejudiced the process and demanded that a minority leader withdrew and apologized for the statement. Mr. Afenyomakin refused, accusing the majority leader of acting in bad faith and seeking to silence dissent. Let me start with you, Hassan Tampoli. I mean, what was yesterday's boycott all about? What was the objective? What were you seeking to achieve? And would you say that you succeeded in achieving that intended goal or objective?
Thank you very much, Moro. I think that yesterday's spectacle was one that came up as a result of the kind of heckling that went about when the minority leader was making his preliminary remarks. Now, this has been the convention. It's not provided for in black and white in the standing orders, but by convention and by Order 268 of the standing orders of Parliament, chairpersons have certain latitude to operate and to give discretionary, opportunities to members and so on and so forth. So typically when you go to a committee meeting, opening remarks will be made by the chairperson, and then he will yield to the ranking member for the ranking member to also make preliminary comments. Sometimes even vice chair and then the deputy ranking are also given an opportunity to make preliminary remarks, but mostly is the chair and then the ranking. So this
is us of, it's not us of rights, but it's a privilege.
It's something that we do all the time. And then in Parliament, we are guided by the Constitution, our standing orders, and the time-tested conventions. Okay. All right? And some of these are documented even in writings. Order 268. Order 268 is the general functions of the chairperson of a committee. So it is in the spirit of that the minority leader had to also make his preliminary remarks. Now, the rules also provide for right of rebuttal. If something is said by one person that the chairperson thinks, okay, or maybe another member, objects to, you can come under a point of order which is provided for under our rules, Order 122, I believe, and then you state the reason for your what's the name? Point of order. So in this instance, it appears to have been a premeditated attempt by the distinguished member of Parliament for Boku and leader of the House.
Boku he Central. Boku Central.
Boku Central. Well, he said it himself that he was ready to object to everything that the minority leader says. So it supposes a certain premeditation that I am coming to derail your thoughts. I'm not going to allow you to speak. He said it himself. It came out of his own mouth.
Well, not exactly.
He said that I'm going to object to everything that you say.
No.
That I don't, more or less, you see, it's okay for you.
That's not what he said.
It's okay for you to object, but you see, and the reason why he was doing so is because he had read the minority leaders, statements. You understand? The minority leader shared the statement with the chairperson in keeping with good practice and not to spring a surprise on anybody. He said, look, I have a statement and this is my statement. Take a look at it. And the chairperson, Honorable First Deputy Speaker, said, oh, no problem. I'll allow you to make your statements as ranking. Then, the majority leader, walks in and insists that that statement should not be made. There's a background to all of this. We filed a motion, for Mr. Speaker to consider so that the motion will be moved for Parliament to suspend the process of, considering the appointment of Justice Paul Bafuboni as the Chief Justice. I think about 6 or 7 of us, appended our signature to the motion. My chair, and then my ranking and myself, and then some of the leadership. And the speaker thought it was inadmissible for different considerations. He said that Parliament cannot be injuncted in performing its function, especially pursuant to Article 1441 of the Constitution, which mandates the President to nominate the Chief Justice in consultation with the Council of State and with the approval of Parliament. And so once the President has taken that action, Parliament, no matter what pending cases are before the courts, Parliament cannot be injuncted. Now, we took the view that based on the express provisions of Order 123F, which, in more or less tells Parliament to be hesitant in dealing with matters that are before the courts. And we think that this is an instance where Parliament should restrain itself, because there are 3 pending cases before the Supreme Court by the Justice Tokonu. All right, there are 3 cases also pending before the High Court, and there are 3 before the ECOWAS courts. And we think that, look, by the architecture of the Constitution, under Article 1446, there is no lacuna at all. It says that if for any reason the Chief Justice is unable to perform his or her functions as a Chief Justice, the next most senior Justice of the Supreme Court will step in and act. And it is in that capacity that Justice Paul Bafuboni is acting. And the powers that are available to a substantive Chief Justice is equally available to an acting Chief Justice. So we do not think that there is any void. There's no constitutional, crisis as far as the office of the Chief Justice is concerned. There's continuity at any point in time. So why are we in a rush? As a matter of fact, we were of the view that the person who is going to be considered for the position of the Chief Justice is himself the same person who is supposed to empanel the Supreme Court for them to dispose of these matters, whether it goes in favor of Justice Tokonu or not, but at least justice would have been served. And there must be some finality before we take the necessary steps. Otherwise, we are saying that we have foreclosed the case of Justice Tokonu even before finalizing the case. Because now she's confronted with the fait accompli. The office that you are asking the courts to take you back to has been occupied by somebody. And we are saying again but
hold on a second, Hassan. You've always known that the Chief Justice is the one that would empanel.
That's correct.
The bench to look into a matter before them.
That's right.
But all the same, Justice Tokonu has filed some processes at the courts.
That's correct.
Or the High Court, and I believe the Supreme Court as well. Mm-hmm. Why did she do that? Because you're raising the issue of a possible case of a conflict of interest.
That's right.
Right? But nonetheless, Gertrude Tokonu has brought the matter before him. Why did she do that? I mean, you don't speak for her, but can you hazard a guess?
No, but there are decided cases.
Okay.
All right.
I hope you get that. You get a drift.
There are decided cases, by the Supreme Court since the 1960s. There is a lot of decided cases. Bilson and Rawlings, your Ghana Bar Association versus Justice Archer, Ghana Bar Association versus Urban, a whole lot of cases, even as far back as when former President Nana Akufo-Addo's father was a Chief Justice. There have been cases that have been brought against the Chief Justice for instances where he said that the person who is presiding as the Chief Justice, if a matter that is being brought to the court touches and concerns that person, the person shouldn't be the one doing the paneling or even sitting on the cases. You understand? The courts have held, time and again, that when the duty, Constitution or the law has imposed a duty on somebody, it is only fair that the person is allowed to perform that functions.
Okay.
All right. And so if the office of the Chief Justice is supposed to be the one impaneling, whether you like it or not, you have to allow the person. In fact, there was one instance in Ghana Bar Association versus Justice Archer, when the Bar Association said that in view of the fact that the challenge is against the action of Justice Archer, he should travel to Togo. He should travel to Togo so that the next most senior will do the impaneling. You understand? And they said that no, he's not going anywhere. He has no reason to travel to Togo. Once it's within the jurisdiction, and there are only a few exceptions, you know, to that rule. So generally, the Chief Justice is empowered to do the impaneling, regardless of whether the person has something to benefit from the case or not.
Okay.
So we are of the view that, look, the system should proceed. What we are asking is Justice Tokono has filed all these cases in court, and the person who should be doing the impaneling is the one who is going to benefit from occupying that office.
But how is
and
that?
It is the case.
Yeah, but how is that Bafoboni's fault?
No, because he's supposed to do the impaneling.
Yeah, but how is that his fault?
But whose fault should it be? Somebody has to be taking.
Yeah, but he didn't put himself there as the acting CJ, is there?
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
We are saying that, but he empanels the court anyway.
Yes.
So why not empanel this one too? Supreme Court
okay, so you're questioning why Bafoboni has taken
a
long time in handling the bench to look into those issues.
As a matter of fact, that is our principal position.
Yeah, but he explains to you that those cases are not ripe yet.
Which ones are not ripe yet?
Is that the cases you brought before the
court? Oh, no. All the cases are ripe for hearing. All the cases are ripe for hearing. As a matter of fact, there were interlocutory matters which were brought under those cases. All right? And those interlocutory cases were given expeditious hearing. The acting Chief Justice empaneled the Supreme Court to hear those interlocutory matters. But now for the substantive matters, we do not know who is sitting on the matter.
But before he empanels the bench to look into those issues have to be listed, right?
And whose power is it to list?
Who does the listing?
The Chief Justice is an all in all. When a writ is issued, it is issued in the name of the Chief Justice.
But he said he doesn't do the listing.
He does it. I mean, really and truly. Well, I don't. I thought Edhem was a lawyer, but you see,
he said anybody who makes that argument can only be doing so out of pure propaganda.
No. When
and that you, of all people, not asking you, the minority should know better.
In courts,
okay,
all right, the Chief Justice assigns the cases to the various judges. If it is to the Supreme Court, the CJ would empanel. Nobody else does the empaneling. Nobody has the power.
But after it's been listed,
is it the president who does the list, the empaneling, or the?
No, but after it's been listed,
it's the CJ.
After it's been listed,
yes.
But he says he doesn't do the listing.
But listing
the enlisting of the cases.
But the Chief Justice is the chief administrator of the judiciary.
Okay.
So if things are not being done well, Justice Tokonu is being held responsible for payment of per diem. All right. That is the work of the. Is that the work of the CJ?
So you're raising issues of ultimate responsibility.
Ultimate responsibility. He is the head of the judiciary by virtue of Article 125. Okay. All right. So decisions that are, as a matter of fact, the work of the Chief Justice is twofold. The Chief Justice is a justice of the Supreme Court, by which the Chief Justice will be sitting on cases, and in any case that the Chief Justice sits on, he or she will preside. And he's also the head of the administration. So he performs administrative functions beyond his judicial functions.
But there are some functions that he's also delegated. Whether you delegate or not,
you are responsible for it. Okay. Under Article 58(1),
okay,
executive power is vested in the President of the Republic. He may exercise those powers, or he may do so through people who are subordinate to him. But he's ultimately responsible, for the powers that are discharged on his behalf. It's the same with the office of the Chief Justice. And so what we are saying is that, why are we in a hurry? We are not saying that Article 144 shouldn't operate. It's just a question of when. You understand? We are saying, as Mr. Speaker, tarry a while. Let's give Justice Tokonu the opportunity to finish all her cases, and then we come back and deal with this matter. Nobody has anything personal against Justice Bafoboni. You understand? And for me, yesterday's version, we were ready. We came with our questions. I had my questions. And I gave a teaser when I granted interview to, I believe, 2 sister stations When I told them, look, we are not going to look at the competence of Justice Bafo Boni as far as his knowledge of the law is concerned. We are looking at going for his administrative preparedness, how he manages, organizes, directs, controls, disciplines the judicial arm of government. It's what we are going to be looking at. And we are going to be looking at what he has done since April when he was acting and what he will be doing all the way until 2026, December, when he will be retiring. Those are the things that we came to look at. And as far as I'm concerned, he has distinguished himself as a justice of the Supreme Court, as a judge. Matters that he has sat on, you can agree or disagree with him, but those are his decisions.
Okay.
You understand?
So you're still
we didn't really have any issue.
So you're still explaining to us why you boycotted it.
You understand?
You're saying there's background to why you boycotted it. Yes.
So the reason why we had to walk out, and yesterday was not a boycott.
Okay.
Because we participated in the process. We started the participation, the discussion, and at some point, because of the level of heckling, and we did not want to create a scene again, like what happened sometime in March or so, when we had to end up in fisticuffs because there was major disagreements in the vetting room, and so we didn't want to create any scene and then to mar the vetting of the acting Chief Justice, and for even the news to go out that when the Chief Justice was being vetted, there was, massive fights in the vetting room. We didn't want him to leave the place with that kind of. And so the best thing for us to do was to stage a walkout in protest and to register that we do not support his appointment, his nomination as the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. So yesterday, the fault can only be blamed on the majority. And I could see the difficulty with which the chairman of the committee, the first deputy speaker, was going through. Because he was dealing with his leader. He is first deputy speaker, but Mahama Ayariga, the honorable member of parliament for Boku Central, is the leader of the majority. So he had his limitations. When your leader is doing that amount of heckling, you find it very difficult to rein him in. And so, it was difficult for him to even have done anything contrary to what he was doing. And in order for civility to prevail, in order for us to allow the system to proceed. Of course, yesterday when I made my intervention was to the effect that, look, the chairman should prevail on the leader of the house to allow the minority leader to flow so that when he's done, he has every opportunity to rebut paragraph by paragraph and to also put it on record that you said A, B, C, D, Z, and this is our position. And we take objection, we disagree with you, and that is the beauty of democracy. Look, the only symbol of democracy that you can see currently is parliament. During the military regime, you had the executive and you had the judiciary, but there was no parliament. You understand? You had the district assemblies, every other government agency was functioning except the Electoral Commission and Parliament. And so there's a very good reason why. So this is a place, and democracy thrives when the minority, the opposition, gets an opportunity to air their views on issues. Agree or disagree, but you should be able to allow us to have our say. And then you can have your way. Especially when you have supermajority. What is the fear? You understand? So whatever it is that we couldn't even say during the vetting, when it comes to laying the report of the Public Appointments Committee on the floor of Parliament, we can contribute to the debates. And we can say anything that we couldn't say there. We can still say it there.
Okay.
So how long can you prevent us from saying all of these things?
Fair enough. But
you understand?
I also heard, I'll bring it shortly, but I also heard Mahama Ayariga state, and he stated very clearly yesterday when he intervened that the rules of the House, which is your standing orders, because you just said, look, in Parliament, it's three things. The first two are documents, Constitution, standing orders. Those ones are coded, are codified, it's a document.
Right. That's right.
But there are also conventions, isn't it?
That's right.
The time-tested ones. But I heard him say that here, at parliamentarians, you know what you're supposed to know, what to say, where to say it, and how to say it. Okay, and that he, as majority leader, was not going to allow Afenyoman King to break the rule. So as far as I'm concerned, he was breaking the rule. So is it your contention that he should have allowed Afenyoman King to land or to finish breaking the rule before he draws, and I'm using breaking the rule here in quote, before he draws his attention that what you're saying is not the right forum? And in fact, he goes ahead to say that, look, if you had organized a press conference outside Parliament, right, you put a media together, you can describe the Chief Justice as a disputed one, as whatever. You can even go and criticize the committee that looked into the Tokono matter, use whatever language or whatever term. That's fine. But for as long as you are here, vetting this forum, the certain things are not to be said. How do you respond to what Ayariga said?
So, Honorable Ayariga was referring to Order 1237.
Absolutely.
About the content of speech.
Yes.
So the conduct of the Speaker, the Chief Justice, members of Parliament, and so on and so forth. Now, what the minority leader was doing, he was not talking about the conduct. He was not talking about the conduct of somebody. He was talking about an action that has been taken already, and this is our view. You understand? Oh. So at some point, at what point can you make your view known? I mean, look at the choice of words. And the minority leader was at pains to explain over and over again the context within which he said what he said.
What is the context of a disputed nominee?
No, so that is the view that the minority has taken. We are not dealing with his conduct. If you say somebody is disputed, is there not a dispute?
Okay.
There's a dispute.
Fine.
Okay.
When you also say
there's a dispute about his nomination.
You also say that the work of the committee that looked into the Tokono case did so in an opaque fashion. That's one.
That's right.
And also say that the outcome of that decision, of the outcome of the work of that committee, is a travesty of justice.
Yes.
Isn't that an attack on the committee, for that matter? Gabriel Pwaman himself was there. Scott Pwaman, he was there. He was there during the.
Let me take you to Article 1468.
Okay.
And if you permit me, I'll read. It says that all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera. In camera. What is it supposed to mean? In camera means that it is not open to the general public. It's not open to journalists. And so if I describe something like this as opaque, what's wrong with it? The Constitution itself is saying that it should be opaque. You shouldn't be able to see what is going on there.
But why?
If I describe it as opaque, opaque is just
it's a term of art. But why state something which is not a fault of anybody?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So he's describing what the Constitution itself says. He said that hearing must be opaque.
Why was it necessary?
You get what I'm saying?
No, I can understand you, but I'm saying that why was that necessary?
No, but he's just saying it for the records. That yes, the procedure is opaque. The Constitution itself says that it must be opaque.
Okay.
And everybody agrees. Okay. So even when the Chief Justice went to court to raise issues about what was transpiring at the hearing, the court said that what you are bringing to this court is bad. The court is bad from entering into what is going on at that place. So you said that you were intrusively searched. Your husband was not allowed in, or whoever was not allowed in. They searched your bag. They searched so many things. We were not there. You understand? And that is because the process is supposed to be opaque.
Finally.
And so that description is apt. It only goes to confirm what is in the Constitution. Okay. In camera.
All right.
It's not in public.
Let me ask you this final.
You understand?
Final question to you before Adam comes in.
And if he says that
the objection.
Look, so please let me just make this point.
Okay.
If he says that the process that took place is a travesty of justice, I mean, Mahama Ayariga had every right to set the records, because what minority leader was saying is that we had 3 petitions before Justice Tokono. You had gone through one petition. and you were given a date to come for the hearing of the second and third petition. Now, by the twinkle of an eye, the committee was before the president to present the reports. You understand? So, what happened to the two other petitions? And she said that when you did the prima facie hearing, and you were able to establish that there was a prima facie case for her to go and make, she was hoping to get the reports of the prima facie hearing so that you will segregate the issues. Which issues is she going to respond to? Which issues made it past the prima facie threshold? And which issues did not make it pass?
Where,
you understand?
She
didn't get that response.
That's fine. Where?
Yes.
In Article 146.
Yes.
Makes these demands.
Which one?
The fact that you ought to show to somebody against whom an application or a petition has been filed. Yes. The basis for establishing a prima facie case. Where in Article 146 does it say you should do that?
You know, when you read the Constitution,
okay,
you must read the Constitution as a whole.
All right.
And if you have a community reading of the Constitution under Article 146, and you also look at Article 23, and you look at Article 19, it's a mixed bag of giving somebody a fair hearing. And giving somebody a fair hearing includes ability for the person to process documents that are going to be used against you. It should give you an opportunity to cross-examine witnesses. It should give you reports that has been made against you. Whatever it is that concerns you, you must be given a copy. Now, even long after the committee presented their report to the president that said that she should be removed from office, up to date, Justice Tokono doesn't have a copy of the document that indicted her. Now, judgments at the courts, when you go to court and there's a judgment against you, you are given a copy. When you appear before a commission of inquiry, a committee of inquiry, and you are indicted, you are given a copy. You understand? That is what fair hearing is all about. To date, Justice Tokono doesn't have a copy. So, it's not as if everything must be provided for under Article 146, but if you read together Article 23, Article 19, Article 146, you have a fair idea that she is entitled to be given, you know. In fact, there are instances where you even give the person all this opportunity and the opportunity is not usable. It is not seen to be fair hearing. So you must give the person a usable opportunity. Give the person every opportunity to vindicate his or her rights so that when you take a decision, the person cannot say that, yes, I didn't get the opportunity to see the report, I didn't get the opportunity to cross-examine my witnesses and so on and so forth. So those are the things that we are talking about.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. So yes, Article 146, all rights, you know, litigation must come to an end at some point. But you should give Justice Tokono opportunity to go home and sleep and know that I've exhausted all my remedies. And it is in the interest of the Republic that litigation must come to an end.
All right, let me bring in Adam. Adam.
Bro, yesterday, what happened in Parliament, for me, was just one of those regular days in Parliament when a committee of Parliament exercised their mandate and they did it well. Whether there was a boycott, there was a walkout, or whatever we choose to call it, because I am reading other reports where some members of the NPP are saying that they voted en bloc against the nomination and that it wasn't a walkout or it wasn't a boycott. Others are also saying that there was a boycott or there was a walkout. But whatever it is, all of those things are part of the parliamentary process. Boro, you may not be aware, but when you go to Ghana's parliament, and traditionally most parliaments, even the sitting arrangement had a history. The Westminster system, Parliament of UK, where Ghana, drew its inspiration from, the space between MPs was the length of 2 swords, because they, out of experience, anticipated that there could come a time where members could flare up and get angry and decide to throw swords at each other. And so the distance, sitting distance, the space was created such that even if it happens that my senior brother, the Honorable Tampoli, and I decide to throw swords at each other, the length will not permit us to hurt each other, something like that. And so there's always this level of disagreement in parliament across the world. In fact, just yesterday I learned somewhere that when you go to Uganda now, they have screwed their seats because they have had situations where members of parliament, it got chaotic and they were throwing their seat at each other and all of that. So the level of disagreement that we saw yesterday is normal. I don't think that there was a problem with it. As to whether there was a walkout or what have you, it's not even the issue. But the question is, what was the issue or the issue of contention? What was the bone of contention? What was the disagreement all about? Everything that happened yesterday and everything that the majority leader and leader of government business, the Honorable Mahama Ayariga, did and said was in line with either the constitutional provisions or the provisions of our standing orders. Tomorrow, I will go into the issues. Let me state it, and I think it's important for us to properly put this conversation in context. The qualification of Justice Bafo Boni is not in contention. And nobody, not even his critics, our friends in the NPP minority, are not raising issues with the qualification of Justice Bafo Boni. And that must go on record. Because the qualifications are well spelled out in the Constitution, and he has met every single requirement to be appointed a Chief Justice. And so that is not in contention. Whether it is the number of years at the bar, the experience, and what have, he's met all. So it is not in contention. Number two, the processes leading to the appointment of the Chief Justice is also not in contention. Because Article 1441 clearly states that the President, in consultation with the Council of State, will appoint the Chief Justice. The President did that. Letters were sent to the Council of State as confirmation. Nobody has been able to, throughout all these conversations, accuse the President of breaching any aspect of the Constitution in appointing Justice Bafo Boni as or in nominating him for appointment as the Chief Justice. When you follow the constitutional provisions, after the nomination is made by the President, he has to be vetted by Parliament or subjected to an approval process. Now, the approval process, and let it be known, is not necessarily a vetting. Parliament is the master of its own rules. Parliament could have decided, if we wanted to abuse our numbers, our majority, we could have decided the format for the approval. Because the Constitution states that will be subject to approval by Parliament. And so we, using the appointment committee of Parliament, which is a standing committee, subjected him to vetting and order. And there are many cases, and I am not a lawyer, at least not yet, but there are many cases where Parliament could have decided any other means of subjecting him to or vetting his competence. So his competence is not in question, his qualification is not in question, the procedure for the appointment is also not in question. So what is in question is about whether or not we should allow the former Chief Justice go on with litigation. Let the lawyers know. Litigation must come to an end. You have gone to... she has gone through various... She's gone to court on several occasions. And as we speak today, nobody has been able to point to any provision of Article 146 that was breached in the process of removing her as Chief Justice. Nobody. I am willing to learn. Show us. This is the Constitution. Which aspect of Article 146 has been breached, Moro, in appointing or in the removal process? None.
He's just told you.
Indeed, no. What he described as opaque.
He said.
What he described.
As we speak, Tokono doesn't know the basis upon why.
Oh, please, please. We can't say that he doesn't know the basis.
The Premier.
What was he responding to? But he responded.
Let me just read something for you. Let me just read something.
What is he responding to?
Let me help you. Suit number HR/0115/2025. Chief Justice Gertrude Abarabatokono and Article 146 committee set out to hear petition against Chief Justice and Justice Scott Parman, Justice Dibu, Yao Demolevo, Major Flora, Professor James. And the process is that application for judicial review pursuant to Article 23 and 141 of the 1992 Constitution and Order 55 of CI 47 to quash proceedings of 15th May 2025 on account of 1. Violation of all the alteram partem rule of natural justice by committee's refusal to recognize legal representative of CJ and accord him a hearing on case management meeting. 2. Refusal to disclose to Chief Justice the case referred for inquiry against her. Refusing to serve the Chief Justice with the documents referred to committee by the President, including the alleged prima facie determination. So what I'm saying is that if you look at Article 146 architecture alone, you miss the point. But the devil is in the details.
Great.
So you understand?
So she has no problem.
Yes, Constitution provides for it. But how
my
you
point
operationalize it?
My point is that what you have read,
yes,
what you have read is the case that she has taken to court. That is her belief. But I'm saying that when you read the entire Constitution and you take a look at Article 146, which spells out the procedure in removing not just the Chief Justice alone, but also a Justice of the Supreme Court. In my, there is no breach of any of those provisions. The issue of opaqueness, and Senior made the point that the Constitution itself make that process opaque. Moro, the Chief Justice, or let me say the former Chief Justice, who, having practiced as a lawyer for several years, rose through the ranks, became Chief Justice, went to court, asking the court to do what was clearly a breach of the Constitution. When you read the Constitution, in the matter of whether or not such a committee should sit in camera, it was not at the discretion of any individual. The Constitution said, shall be held in camera. But she went to court asking that what the Constitution says shall be done should be waived so that for her, it should be done in public. For me, the very day she went to court seeking that particular provision to be breached, I actually questioned the integrity with which she led the judiciary. Moro, because the Constitution says shall be held in camera. And all of a sudden, that is what we are standing on to say the process was opaque. Please, I believe, and going through all of these things.
But was it not opaque?
No, the process was not opaque. She had her day. She appeared before the committee. She responded. In camera means that it must be held, without without a view of the public.
Exactly. So that's what opacity is.
And I'm saying that it is what the Constitution provides.
That's what opacity is. Exactly. So
the framers of the Constitution may have a reason why it is stated in that. And when she was Chief Justice, she did not have a challenge with that provision until it was time for her to appear before the committee. Then she was now raising issues with what was the constitutional provision. And when you read the Constitution carefully, Moro, there are aspects or provisions of the Constitution where discretion is allowed. But in this case, there's no discretion. It says shall be held in camera. It means it is supposed to be held in camera until there is a constitutional amendment where that provision is changed it must remain so. It must be held in camera.
That's fine.
If that is what appears as opaque to her, I'm sorry, but that is a constitutional provision.
Okay.
Moro, having said that, yesterday, the issues of the standing orders, it is true. Some of us are quite new in the house. But we took the advice that leadership gave us when we came, that you need to learn and the standing orders and imbibe it. You need to, religiously read it as though it is such a sacred, for you alone, like the Bible or anything like that for you. Moro, according to our standing orders, Order 123, what the majority leader, the Honorable Ayariga, did yesterday was right. Order 123 provides for what we call content of speech. Now let me give you Order 1232. It says that a member shall not A. use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words on a member or any other person, or 2B. impute improper motives or impugn the integrity of a member or any other person. So based on this, the majority leader says, describing the nominee as disputed, it could qualify as impugning improper motive, or you impugn the integrity of the nominee, and for that reason may not be acceptable, and that should be removed or expunged, and all of that are provided for in the constitution, in the standing order, because 1233 actually states that where in the opinion of the speaker, the words of a member used in a speech are offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming, impute improper motives, or impugn the integrity, blah blah blah, the speaker may order that the member withdraws those words or withdraw and apologize. And so the majority leader, based on this, was asking for the withdrawal of the word disputed nominee. And that was it. Clearly we saw what he did, and it's in line with our standing orders. Again, when you go to standing orders, Senior made reference to the 7. But beyond the 7, before the 7, there's a 6, which says the speech of a member shall be relevant to the subject matter under discussion. So a nominee appears before the committee. Yes, it has been the practice that the chairperson of the committee will allow the ranking, sometimes even the vice chair, to make preliminary comments before the commencement of the committee's work. So it happens across all committees. But based on 1236, that comment must also be related, must be related to the subject. And so if I appear before the education committee and I'm acting as the chairman or the vice chair, and I'm giving the opportunity, let's say GetFund appears before us, and in my preliminary comment, I begin talking about Metro TV or talking about National Service Scheme, which is not related to the subject matter. Based on this, the speaker, and the committee sitting is an extension of parliament, and so all the rules applies. So based on this, the chairperson or the speaker can call me to order and say that my speech should be related. Number 2, when you read the same standing orders.
So this point that you just made.
So the point I'm making is that there was a nominee before the committee.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are given the opportunity to give preliminary comments, ideally it is expected that the comments should be related to the subject, which was the vetting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go on, and again I will go to that standing, when you go on to discuss a matter even for which the House has already concluded, and that is also provided for in the standing orders. Look at 5. 1235 says, a member shall not raise any specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion during the current session, except on a substantive motion for rescission. Last week, Friday, during the presentation of the business statement for the ensuing week, this matter of Chief Justice nominee and whether or not the vetting should come off was extensively deliberated upon. The Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, passed a judgment or gave a ruling. That's how it's properly said. Gave a ruling on the matter and brought the matter to conclusion. So 1, 2, 3, 5 of our standing orders says that a member is not allowed to raise specific question upon which the House has come to a conclusion, on a matter. So we have already concluded, or there was a ruling on that matter. And so we could not have stopped the appointments committee from proceeding to do their work. Then again, there's another issue. When Speaker was giving his ruling on Friday, last week Friday, there was this issue of whether or not what is happening in one arm of government should impede or prevent Parliament from exercising its mandate. And the Speaker made a very simple analysis: separation of powers and judicial independence should not mean legislative paralysis. What he simply says is that the fact that there is a matter before the courts awaiting determination does not mean that Parliament will not be allowed to do its work. Does it mean, drawing from that analogy, does it mean that today, if I decide to go to court to place an injunction or seeking something related to the budget reading, so Parliament could wait for how long until the court is determined? There is a reason why we have a history with how these things are done. As long as Parliament is not in contempt of court, as long as Parliament has not breached any laws.
Let me help him with. Can you take a look at Order 103F?
Yes.
What is the scope and effect of Order 103F?
I can go there. I can quote it for you.
Yes, read it. Read Order 103F.
Order 103, yes. So, yes. So this is Order 103. That's conditions for admissibility of motions. The F says, be the subject matter of an action on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as may, in the opinion of the Speaker. So the thought says that a motion shall relate to a definite issue and not. But in this case,
so what does an F say?
The F says not be the subject matter of an action on which a judicial decision is pending in such a way as may, in the opinion of the Speaker, prejudice the interest of parties to the action.
What's your understanding of this one? If there are pending cases in court,
so if there are pending cases, so my position is that
the three arms of government are separate, independent, equal, and coordinate in status.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So what you do is that when there's something going on within the judicial arm of government, cases are pending. Good sense and civility and comparative practices across the jurisdiction where we learned this democracy.
So let me finish. I know the angle you are going, but I'll finish. Moro, I know the angle he wants to go, but let me finish. Moro,
the resolution of the matter in court. Moro, you understand? And that is what we have adopted.
And we are saying that.
Do we pick and choose?
Moro, we are not. There's no pick and choose. In this case, in this case, there was a ruling on this matter on Friday. The Right Honourable Speaker gave a ruling. And in the ruling, Parliament is allowed to go. And then let me say that the issue in court is not even about whether or not the nominee is qualified to occupy the position. It is about somebody who has been removed from office, who in her understanding of the processes was not fairly dealt with, and is in court. So are we saying that Parliament's work should come to a halt because the Justice Tokuno gets a conclusion?
The counter argument. The counter argument is that. The counter argument is that. Can you imagine a situation where Justice Tokuno gets a favorable judgment in court? Can you imagine that situation? and say she should be restated as the Chief Justice of this country?
Can we imagine?
How what will happen?
So can you imagine if Justice Tokunu's case in court travels for how many years? The point is that as we speak today, with regards to our standing orders and our constitution, there is no breach of the constitutional provisions in the nomination of Justice Bafo-Boney. There is no breach in our standing orders in how Parliament conducted itself yesterday to do the vetting. A report will be presented to plenary, and members the House will take a decision on it.
All right.
But as we speak, I can say confidently that Article 146 was adhered to strictly in the removal process. Article 144 was adhered to in the appointment of Justice Bafo-Boney, and all the standing orders, relevant standing orders, in relation to the vetting process has been adhered to.
All right.
And so Parliament will continue to do its work.
Right.
And I believe that when the committee brings their report, but yesterday, we saw how the Chief Justice nominee discharged himself excellently.
All right. So we'll come back. We'll come back and look at some of the bold reforms that the Chief Justice intends to roll out when he's given the nod, finally. You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
He was in a hurry to empanel the court to hear the injunction applications. None has happened in any of the 6 cases. Mr. Speaker, there's a High Court matter where the Justice Tokonu challenged the warrant of a remover. The AG filed an application seeking constitutional interpretation. It's been weeks that my Lord Bafo-Boney, who alone has the power to empanel the court, has not empaneled the court. In fact, none of the cases involving my lady Tokonu, as well as our respected colleague Vincent Assefuah, has received the blessing of the court for the purpose of hearing. We are not dealing with minds. That vetting will not happen. It will not happen. You must follow due process. Follow the law. Do the right thing. We, the minority, will not shut our mouth.
Confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini ehu behia se metwa sapapadia to ama me manfo Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients eno bom me se ho ban e ma ne sren ne sanso mama hotoso e wo bedwam.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste.
Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Oh, Jose, and then me the SMS. Can pan na sana me so ya na wode me. Edre na adi me nkwa no. Kingdom garlic bitters. No, benefit me benefit why? Also ko to de. Abrewa, this my abrente.
Mishuve, one antique crana wabre. Num Kingdom garlic bitters and any capsules. Nenya Wadia Brebia.
Kingdom garlic bitters and the capsules. Assembia and you. A different one who am when I say.
Send your name, my wife, company one personal. Kingdom ginseng power capsules and tea. Say, see, I'm password.
Kingdom ginseng power capsules. Emeni chienya sumdie befi abrebia. Obebia o de poa haw no. Edro bakupa uhia ne tremendous capsules. Tremendous capsules. Esiesie wo ma wo ye obesima. Enro yi wo benya bi wo bebia ye ton ro bia. Kingdom herbal. No challenger.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again? Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go fit the luckiest. Go fit from your be luckiest. From not the pure cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go fit be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go fit be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God apple boom. If you're poor, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, a simple dilation. Mr. Good Luck no me way.
Yeah, man. Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompts. Yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, baby, I'll find me Pemasimo. Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Wabedum Tamaso. Hey, Jay. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwema besisia. Abozig. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I tell me. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready. Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. Sorry, well, uncle, where would I die? Why your funeral? At your phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share Nanda Daya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them, sir. Chaisima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question: how do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejikum Donkor and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24th, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025, from the farm to the court, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it will be an honor to host you.
You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. I'm here with MP for Gushewu, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Gushewu. I'm talking about Alhassan Tampoli, and also the MP for Ketu North, Eric Edem Agbana, who I call him a youth activist. He's always been a youth activist. But Hassan, I've always wanted to ask you this. Why do you? Not many people know you as Suleimana.
That's my father's name.
But it's always Hassan Tampoli. Hassan Tampoli.
Hassan is
the
my
Suleimana
first name.
is almost.
Tampoli is my middle name.
It's missing.
And the Suleimana is my father's name.
Okay. Because not many people mention the Suleimana at all.
Many people don't. So even when I was in secondary school, until I was going to write O level.
Right.
That's when I added Tampoli to my name. So I was Alhassan Suleimana. I was Alhassan Suleimana for the 5 years that I did O level. It was when we were going to register to write O level that I added Tampoli, to my name.
So let me read a few messages that have come through, and then I can get the two of you to conclude on this matter, and then we can move on to something else. So, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, I'm sure that
His Excellency.
Yes, he needs no introduction. He says, "Good morning, Moro. My greetings to your panelists in the studio. Let's be honest. The majority leader, my younger brother, was only trying his best to advise the minority leader on his choice of words and the convention and rules of the House. He simply cautioned him not to use unpalatable language and to stay within the parliamentary rules. The minority leader could have made his submission without resorting to insults. On the issue of members of parliament working as whether they are unhappy with certain matters, the practice must stop. We need to bring maturity and decency back to our parliament. Our MP should remain in the chamber to discuss, debate, and resolve issues, no matter how contentious they are. The next generation should learn, or should not learn, this culture of walking out from our leaders." That's coming from Hassan Ayariga. Reverend Jones Latte, who's a regular viewer of the show from the UK, he's a journalist as well. He's a minister of God and also a journalist. He says that enough respect to Mr. Tampoli. I was watching him yesterday at the vetting of the CJ nominee, and I'm glad that Arnold Dompre did not instruct you guys to rip off mics and cables. Was it the minority's plan to walk away? If so, why were you at the vetting if it was your plan to walk out? I see Aponyo marking as an antinomian lawless. I don't know what it was.
Please come down to our level.
Reverend, please come down to our level.
Yes. The week has just begun.
But he continues and says that Tampoli knows very well in law that where a word may have more than one meaning, it must be constructed. The word opaque must be constructed properly so that it does not lead to absurdity. Hearing a case in camera is not opaque because the formation of the committee was properly constituted to sit in camera. And it says that 103F talks about the opinion of the speaker. In my view, once the speaker has given his opinion on the matter, it is finished. Alhaji Suwari, who is Yes,
he's
yes.
a very strong guy.
He's a member of the NDC. He's one of the strong NDC members in America. I'd like to know, what exactly is your position with the New York branch of NDC? Remind all of us. But it says it's a settled law. Parliament continues its function even when court cases are ongoing. The Speaker ruled the CJ vetting must proceed based on this principle. So for Honorable Appenyomaki to call him a disputed nominee is disrespectful, unethical, and irresponsible. So this one from Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm. He says, Alhaji, Allah, message is too long. Kai. Alhaji Hamza says, good morning, my brother Moro. What happened yesterday in Parliament on the part of the micro minority is so shameful to say the least. Appenyomaki and the minority should be made to know that they cannot stop the president from performing his constitutional rights. Moro is a minority saying that Parliament should not perform its constitutional mandate because there are cases pending in court. My brother Honorable Ayaraga yesterday spoke about laws governing his country and the standing orders of Parliament, but Appenyomaki wanted to operate outside the Constitution and the standing orders of Parliament, and which is totally unacceptable. And I salute Honorable Ayaraga for the bold steps that he took yesterday. The micro minority should give us a break. We have a country to govern. Iliasu from Tamale says, good morning, Moro. The conduct of the majority leader was distasteful and leaves much to be desired. Simply to allow his colleagues, the minority leader flow was a problem to him. Clearly, the majority members came into the vetting with a preconceived mind. The minority leader was seeking to point out the pressing issues arising from the unlawful suspension of the former CJ. From where I sit, the majority will cry wolf about the same issues they foist on Ghanaians today. The NDC is guilty of the very things they complain about in the opposition. How many judges haven't been appointed upon assumption of office? And yeah, so that's from Iliasu in Tamale. So, oh, I see. So Reverend Joslati tells us that he's actually in private practice as a solicitor.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, okay. Reverend Joslati, looks like I need to be updated. Was not updating me. I need to speak to him one of these days. And Alhaji Dawud, I've also seen your message, and he's also concerned about the use of the word opaque and the wrong impression that it may be creating because of how you put it. And this one here says, Papa Bisu says, what are the minority MPs in Parliament bragging about to extend that they felt okay to boycott or walk out against yesterday's very important program? What's their scorecard in government? They brought us hardship, e-levy, betting, tax haircuts, and lots of corrupt activities. On that very important note, their inputs have no value in terms of Ghana's progress, and says, away. Regards to Chief of Staff, and that's come from Papa Bisu in Spain Text. And also Timothy Goba says that he... Okay, so Timothy Goba says that please correct Mr. Tampoli on the misleading statement that in-camera means opaque. That's coming from Timothy Goba. Timothy Goba, what paper are you editing now? Please update me on that. Now, Prosper Ashikwe from Asylum Down says, Moro, there are the three arms of government which function independently. The bigger questions on my mind are, one, whether the laws or sub judice bars a lawmaking arm of government like Parliament from proceeding with their duties. It says, in the unlikely event that the court rules for the former CJ to be reinstalled, is there any provisions on what consequential orders the court can be saddled with? If there is none, it's great time and an opportune window for Parliament to look at a law in that regard. Honorable Tampoli and Honorable Edem can begin the process. Moreover, this is what I saw yesterday, that a bird might have tweeted to the majority leader that the Honorable Minority Leader was coming to do what he has been known for in recent times. And he says that to unduly delay processes, it was clear he was being unlawful and was unperturbed about it. Once he conveys the communique regarding the former CJ, this is what I saw Honorable Ayaraga do also to prevent him from evading tenets and rudiments set for such exercises. Unfortunately, they walked out. The vetting committee needed their input to bring the best out of the acting CJ nominee. It's a shame, but that's the beauty of the democracy we subscribe to. Please keep your messages very brief. It helps me. It helps me a great deal. And, okay. Right. Let me look at this one. So Samuel Brian Boabeng says, Moro, my lord, the disputed Chief Justice nominee struggled even with friendly questions from his own party members. His remarks on Atachia were astonishing. Prison sentences not meant to reform offenders. Clearly, in Paul Bafoboni, we have an emotional Chief Justice who prioritizes feelings over the law. we're truly doomed. Jesus wept. Samuel Brian Boabing from Awoshi. Okay, Timothy, go here with a daily graphic. Yes, daily graphic. That's true. Good to hear from you. And then this one here says that so Nana Yao Sapon, who is with the United Party. Nana, I'm not a member of the United Party. He says I'm wearing yellow, so he's suspicious. No, I'm not a member of the United Party. I'm a journalist, I beg you. So he says that, Moro, please ask my brother, Tampoli, if he would say same thing out of Parliament in the next election, if there is a litigation surrounding his election, and he's told to hold his peace until after the various court cases. That's a very interesting question.
He says, please, Constitution has provided.
Please, in camera does not mean opaque. Opaque means not transparent and not seen through. In camera means not public, not for general public consumption. It's English language. Apanyo was clear in his language and choice of words. He meant to say the procedure was not transparent. Simple. He's been economical with the truth. Nanayao Sapon, his aide to Alan Chremating. Ali Hureya, who is a Greater Accra, I believe, Greater Accra Regional Zongo Coordinator of the NDC, says, good morning, bro. Apanyo marking is causing more harm than good to the MPP appointees who are facing the law as we speak. And Reverend Joseph Latte is back. He says antonymia is a combination of two words, anti meaning against and nomos meaning law. So antinomian means a lawless person. Thank you very much for the tuition. Okay. Now, okay. So positive change in Medina says those who either the passage and assented e-levy tax law, even when the matter was still in court, are today asking why Parliament should proceed with the vetting of a new CJ nominee, even as Tokonu is in court. I sometimes find it difficult to understand the reasoning of the MPP. It says, good morning, my brother, and thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching the show as well. So, maternally, he's my senior brother, Gadiago Salman.
Gadiago.
All right. So, this one here from Hassan, Mr. Hassan. Hassan says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. He says, more I'm doing the listening. The MPP yesterday went to the CJ vetting with a mindset of destruction. And I'm wondering how the NDC couldn't see the MPP plan of going to the vetting process with a diabolic agenda already. We're told by the MPP they won't allow the girl, the former CJ, to be removed. You can see how the MP deliberately wasted our time before walking out. The NDC should be smarter next time and the MPP should be ashamed of themselves. Bravo, the majority leader, Mahama Yariga, for marching the insignificant minority MPP leadership, boot for boot, yesterday. Hassan Sawadogo from Tema. All right. Kakra Esamwa says, Honorable Hassan Tampoli got it wrong when he said a judgment of a court is given to the parties as of right. They have to apply for it.
Of course. She applied for it. Even this one, she applied for it.
Right. So that's from Kakra Esamwa. Kakra Esamwa, good to hear from you. Now, this one here. Okay. So, Accra Hearts of Oak. Since 1911. Is there some celebration? Some celebration in the works? They should let us know so that we can pass. So, all right. So a lot of people have sent me messages informing that Timothy Goba is with the Daily Graphic. Thank you very much for that as well. Enoch and Afianya says, I think the minority is being nuisance these days. If the minority knew they would walk out, why waste the time with the motion the speaker had thrown away? Honorable Afianya-led minority is too disappointing. The least said about them, the better. Good morning to Chairman Jasper of Tema West. Oh, God, just too many messages. Anyway, so I'll come back to some of the messages later. So I hope that we're concluding with this. Now, let me just announce that management has been very kind, very magnanimous, and very benevolent and very charitable. We've been granted 20 more minutes. So
this is benevolent.
Thanks, Vaughn.
Dictatorship.
Thanks, Vaughn. Thanks very much for the extra time.
Oh, it just tells you that our discussion is deep.
Okay, so a member of our management has sent me a message. In fact, he sent me the House of Oak,
Okay.
Yes, and he's actually reminding me, says, today is Accra Hearts of Oak birthday. How can you forget the greatest club in Ghana?
Oh, yes.
It says, won Ghana Premier League 6 times in a row.
Continental
won the treble in 2000. CAF Champions League, Ghana League and FA Cup.
That's
the
right.
only Ghanaian to win the CAF Confederations Cup.
That's right.
I think it was
and
under,
to play at the world,
under the late
something
Atuquinfield Jones. That was a big game, eh? That was a big game. Anyway, so gentlemen, let's move on. You still have something to say?
Yeah, I have something to just conclude and
okay.
You know, if you look at the Constitution, the Constitution has what you call clauses which are justiciable.
Right.
And we have non-justiciable clauses. And those non-justiciable clauses are mostly under Chapter 6, from, I believe, Article 34 all the way to Article 41. Right? Then we have entrenched provisions. And we also have non-entrenched provisions. Under the judiciary, Article 125, Article 127, 145, and 146 are all entrenched provisions. Now, what it tells you is that the makers of the Constitution have elevated those entrenched provisions to a different level. You understand? So it's not even easy for you to just say that you are going to amend the Constitution by parliamentary, process. You need to get the general, public by virtue of a referendum. So the reason I'm coming to this point is that if you look at the process that we are going through, it leads to the emergence of a new Chief Justice. And if a Chief Justice is in office, the only way that you can get the Chief Justice out in the Constitution is by resort to Article 146. Article 146 provides that the only way that you can get a Justice of the Superior Court or the Chief Justice out of office is only three: stated misbehavior, incompetence, and then inability to perform the functions by infirmity of body or mind. Now, our argument is that if you go ahead to vet Justice Paul Bafubone, and then he's given his instrument of office, he takes over as the Chief Justice, substantive Chief Justice, and then these cases of Justice Tokono terminate in her favor, what's going to happen? We are going to have a very serious constitutional nuclear meltdown. Because the only way that you can remove Justice Bafubone at that time is by resort to Article 146. You have to establish that he's incompetent. You must establish that he has done something, you have stated misbehavior or infirmity of body and mind. So in order for us not to get to this stage, why don't we give, enough room for Justice Tokono to exhaust all her remedies? She exhausts the remedies while we're in a hurry. There is no bottleneck anywhere. The system is performing, the system is running. Justice Bafubone, as acting Chief Justice, is in full control of the judicial arm of government. And so, nobody is saying anything. We're just, in fact, the operation of Article 144.1 that, my good friend, Honorable Edem Agbana, is raising, it's not something that we, the minority, will call into question. Our only issue is on the when Parliament should do that not whether Parliament has capacity to do it. Because it's a constitutional imperative. Parliament must do it. But we are saying that why don't we, hold on for a while and allow the process, at the courts to terminate. And the person who can make it happen is the acting Chief Justice. To bring finality. And then we can have our lives back. And Justice Tokono can have, in fact, one of the issues that she brought to courts, interestingly, is that all the petitions, the one that came from Yakubu Ayamga, the one that came from Daniel Ofori, and then that other NGO, all of them were petitions for the removal of Chief Justice. Each one of them, petitions for the removal of Chief Justice on stated grounds. None of them talks about petition for the removal of her as Chief Justice and Justice of the Supreme Court. So that is also an issue that she has brought before the court. She needs to be given finality. Because if you remove her as a Justice of the Supreme Court, that means that she loses all her pension. She loses everything that she has worked for 25 years and all in the public service. And so you need to be able to give her, this is not too hard to ask. You understand?
But Hassan, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If we encourage a situation where by the mere filing of a process in court, other arms of government are supposed to be stopped from performing their constitutionally mandated duty, won't we create a chaotic situation? That's my first question. My second question is this. Gertrude Arba Kumsing, Tokono, sorry, I said Kumsing, Tokono, has been in court for several other issues. I mean, she has made all kinds of...
They are only intellectual matters. The injunctions were the ones that were struck out.
No, Hassan, hold on. I'm saying that she's been in court for several reasons.
Yes.
Trying to get all kinds of hearings or all kinds of judgments in her favor. Now, the three which are before the courts.
The Supreme Court, yes.
One is with the High Court, one the Supreme Court, isn't it? Okay. Now, even if, let's even assume, without admitting, that the acting Chief Justice has sufficient powers, as you've been trying to argue this morning because he's the head of the administration, to say that, okay, bring the cases. Let's look into the cases today. As soon as the cases are heard and a ruling is given.
Yes.
Tokono says, and as some lawyers do, as soon as the case is heard, the following day, another one can be filed. What you lawyers call a legal strategy. Right? Now, if it is the case that any time the case is filed before the court would have to hear a matter for as long as he has something to do with her before the vetting happens. If I'm Tokono, I can frustrate the court for 4 years. Sorry, I can frustrate the vetting for 4 years now, by filing processes in court, which is not actually, which is something that is not, which is as of right.
Let me
get the point.
Let me explain to you how.
If I want to abuse that process, I can.
Yes, you've used the appropriate word.
Okay.
When you go to the courts, sometimes people see the courts maybe as places where people can just go and file multiplicity of suits, but that's not how it works. You understand? When you bring an action in court against me, and I look at the rates, it has nothing to do with me. It's frivolous, vexatious. In fact, those are the words in the CI 47, the rules of court. It's frivolous, vexatious, and it has no merit. I can, as we say in court, ex debito justitia, as the justice of the matter, applying for the court to strike it out right from the beginning. We call it in limine. Strike it out from the beginning. You understand?
Right.
Those remedies are provided. You get what I'm saying? Or if I filed something against you, and then you think that maybe what I filed is irrelevant, it doesn't have anything to do with me, I don't enter appearance. I enter conditional appearance and apply to the court to immediately strike out your claims. Okay. So if she comes in and she doesn't have a claim, or the matter is res judicata, you have brought it to courts and the courts have said that this is our decision, and then you are coming again, there is something called res judicata. If the case has to do with the same parties on the same issues, then the court will look at it and say that, look, you've come to this court already, and then they'll throw you out.
Okay.
Eja and Foliata and then Eja. There are a long line of cases which deal with these things. But you see, the point that we are saying is that nobody is saying that the intention of Justice Tokono is to drag this matter for as long as it takes, because you have not even listened to the matter to start with. Two cases by census, an NGO called Census. There's one by Honorable Vincent Asafwa.
Okay.
And then there's one by the Chief Justice, Justice Tokono herself at the Supreme Court.
Okay.
The three other ones had to do with the work of the committee. He says that you didn't give me a hearing. You understand? You didn't give me a hearing. So if you didn't give me a hearing, there's an opportunity, and it becomes an administrative panel.
Okay.
The work that the committee did is the work of an administrative panel.
Okay.
And so they are amenable to judicial review powers. And if you are going to ask for judicial review, of an administrative panel work, the best place to go is the High Court. So if I go to the High Court and I don't get judgment, I have every right to go on appeal to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. That's one, you can't do anything about it.
All right.
But you can't go and be filing multiplicity of suits in court on the same subject matter.
Right.
That one, that's abuse of the court process. And costs may be awarded against you in punitive terms so that you don't repeat any of those things. But all in all, allow Justice Tokono an opportunity. Give her her day in court.
All right.
That's what we are saying.
Okay. Eric,
that's what we are saying. Give her her day in court.
I think that, Moro, we need to
all of us deserve that.
Because we need to move on because we have established that no provision of Article 146 or any aspect of the Constitution was breached in her removal.
That's the thing. They should just go and say it in court.
It was not breached in her removal. That must be stated. Number two, President Mahama and the government did not breach any provision in the appointment of Justice Bafo-Boni. 3, Parliament did not breach any provision of the Constitution or our standing orders in the vetting process of Justice Bafo-Boni. If it is the case that the former Chief Justice is now fighting to remain a justice of the court, there are many schools of thought on that as to whether or not, for example, if you are removed as the Chief Justice, you should remain a justice of the court and what have you. I have no comment on that.
Right.
The most important thing for me as a legislator is that no provision of our Constitution was breached in her removal. Neither was any provision of the Constitution breached in appointing a new Chief Justice. Let's move on. Let's see how we can build a strong judiciary. A judiciary that the people of Ghana will have confidence in. Last year, 2024, there was an Afrobarometer report that says that 9 out of 10 Ghanaians did not have confidence in the judiciary. This is a judiciary that some people perceive that even with goats, with yam, tubers of yam, you can influence judicial decisions. Let us see how, under the incoming Chief Justice, we rebuild that confidence in the judiciary. That should be the matter of concern to us, not whether an individual. I mean, I think we need to move on.
So speaking about what Justice Bafo-Boni intends to do going forward as the Chief Justice, of course, if approved by Parliament, he says that one, he intends to move elections to November instead of December 7. That's one. 2, he wants to settle election petitions before January 7. Number 3, he wants to establish 24-hour sitting courts. And number 4, he wants to use AI to empanel judges. So those are the 4 key things that we picked from what he said. And also, someone just sent me this by Patrick Yabo, who's of MP for Kakri Central. He's actually put something up on Facebook, and he says on Monday, 10th November 2025, the Appointments Committee fulfilled its oversight mandate by vetting Chief Justice nominee, Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. May God grant us wisdom and strength as we work diligently for God and country. I'm sure that you agree with him on that.
Yes.
All right, so... okay. Oh. Adam, I'm not aware. Apparently, Andy's just telling me that you had some under-19 tournament.
Yeah, some weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. In your constituency?
No, at Pram. It's a national under-19 championship. Eastern Region 1, I believe. Yes, Eastern Region 1.
Okay.
They defeated the Bono region in the finals. It was a beautiful game.
Oh, your team was there?
No, so what we did was regional based.
Okay.
So the various regions. So we have 10 football administrative regions. They all presented their best 20 players under 19 from the various Division 2 teams in the regions.
Okay.
So we did it for close to 12 days. 2nd November was the finals, and it was a very, very good competition. And Eastern Region emerged as the winners. What we are hoping to see is that we saw a number of scouts, both local and international, who came to scout for talent. And more, it will amaze you some of the talents that we saw during the championship. I can tell you that the Lamine Yamals and Co, the Mbappes that we admire, these young kids, the Ada Guelen, all those young players that we admire, we have many more of them, even better players here in Ghana. But all they want is a platform, is the opportunity. For some of them, this was the first time that they were coming to Accra. Some of them, is the first time that they were playing on an AstroTurf. But the talent, Moro, the top 11, or let's say the best 11 from the championship, I believe can beat any team in the even
and these are truly under 19.
Under 19, yes, under 19. We did, because beyond their registration cards, we also did a lot of we did proper screening.
Okay.
There was MRI tests for some of them and all of that. Yeah. So proper under 19 players, and they did a great job. I think there's a future for Ghana football, and if what Kurt is doing currently with his power to the youth programs, which has introduced a lot of competitions at the youth level. So we have elite under 15, both boys and girls, elite U17, boys and girls, then elite U19. We started with the boys. Hopefully next year or in the coming years we'll introduce the girls. These are all competitions aimed at discovering talents from the various regions, from the various communities, because there are lots of Division 2 teams around. And these young boys have the talent, they have the skills, they are working hard. All they want is the platform, all they want is the opportunity, but there's no one to give them that opportunity. So competitions like ours brought together all these guys, and we saw beautiful talent. Moro, some of the talents will amaze you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mansa Musa, who is a regular viewer, he's a journalist as well based in the UK, says that this attempt by the opposition to hold the country to a ransom over one person's quest to hold on to power, the country cannot be made to grind to a halt while waiting for a court decision which may take a while to arrive. One component of the governing architecture cannot remain dormant, and we can't wait to see if the ousted CJ will win her case. Therefore, the country must move on. Should the outcome of Tokonu's court case fails in her favor, any injury thereby incurred can be rectified and cured in diverse ways without necessarily restating her to the CJ position. Ghana has to travel on. We can't wait. Thanks and good morning from Mansa Musa, Voice of London in the UK. Alhaji Hamza from Payfarm says, Moro, please tell my brother, Honorable Alhassan Tampoli, that the 4 cases that is pending in the courts for hearing would take more than 1 year to finish, and by that, Mr. Bafoboni would have long gone for retirement. He should not be afraid at all. Ghana is in safe hands. So this one, happy birthday to you, Carlos. Carlos, you're celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday. We wishing you a day as calm, as fulfilling as your heart deserves. May every new year bring you peace, strength, and more smiles. Thank you for all your efforts and sacrifices. They never go unnoticed. Keep shining in your quiet, beautiful way. How much is Ben's? I'll buy it for you, sweetheart. And it's coming from Vanessa. You know, Vanessa is falling in love, so you can understand. Yeah, she wants to buy a Benz for Carlos. Yes. I like the car that she's driving. She's driving. She's driving a. What's the name of that car? I think it's a Rolls Royce or so. Anyway, so Samaku Kelly says, the Moro, if what Honorable Tampoli and the MP are saying is something to go by, why didn't they see anything wrong with removal of Mr. Daniel Damlovo from office while he was still in court contesting his removal? What kind of legal system are we seeking to run? One for the rich and noble, and another for ordinary citizens, or what? Let's be careful what we seek to defend and justify. Otherwise, one day, this country would burst into flames before our very eyes. And then Nilante Vanderpoy sends this message. Let me read this and then we can end the show with one more topic we'll do in just less than 10 minutes. This one, it says, is Tampoli saying that the place to seek judicial review is the High Court? I think that judicial review is heard at the Supreme Court after all appeals have been exhausted. The threshold of proof is lawfulness, reasonability, and proportionality. All right, so let's just wrap up in just 5 minutes with this matter. So yesterday, you know, the finance minister is also doubling as the defense minister. Yes, he's presented a very important document to the president. And today's Mike Dokosi's Daily Post is reporting that the acting minister for defense, Mr. Castle Atuforcing, has led the committee that investigated August 6 helicopter crash to present their report and the finding to President John Dramani Mahama. The presentation was made at a meeting of the National Security Council. The report will be released to the public on Tuesday, November 11. It is recalled that on August 8, President John Dramani Mahama announced the establishment of a high-level investigative board of inquiry to uncover the cause of the tragic military helicopter crash. The crash killed 2 cabinet ministers and 6 others in the Adanse, Akrofom district of the Ashanti region. In a solemn nationwide address, the president assured Ghanaians that the Ghana Armed Forces would lead a full and transparent investigation into the crash. President Mahama and the helicopter crash committee members, as we mourn, questions about the cause of this tragedy are natural and important. I want to assure the families and the nation that the Ghana Armed Forces has initiated a full and transparent investigation of the circumstances of this crash. According to the president, the flight data and cockpit voice recorders have already been recovered to aid the inquiry. But we're also picking up some information from very, very credible sources that we're just going to have perhaps a redacted version. Very scanty information about this report. We're not going to be able to read the entire report. I don't know if, what do you think? Do you have the same information?
Well, Muru, the event of
we have just 6 minutes. So
yes,
just
events of August 6, I believe, remains very, very heavy on our hearts. And any conversation related to it brings back memories of how unfortunate and how difficult it was for us to accept the news. It is important to bring finality to the issues of the investigations. There are various reasons why these things, people demand investigation, because we need to know these were lives that were lost. To us, some of us saw them as either members of parliament or ministers of state, but beyond they being ministers of state, they have families. Some of them were fathers, some of them were the breadwinners of their family and all of that. So it is a difficult thing for the family. They need to know what actually happened. But I also know that because this relates to the military and security issues, national security, some parts of the document may be classified. Some parts may be classified. But I believe that President Mahama and the government, as transparent as they have always been, the aspects that we in the public, the general public, need to know, they will not relent at all in letting us know. I am grateful that at least we have a report that has been presented. It tells you that they are bringing conclusion to the issues, because when issues happen this way, people have various reasons and people give various accounts. And we need to be scientific as a country. There were people that said they saw it as a prophecy. There were people that attribute it to some spiritual issues. There were people that attributed it to deliberate sabotage and other things. Let the investigations bring finality to the issues, and then we'll give the families of those who were involved at least that peace of mind to continue mourning their beloved fathers, husbands, and all that they lost.
Okay. Hassan.
Yes.
Just 2 minutes.
I think that it's important that we bring closure to this issue. It's one of the saddest moments in our country, and since August 6th, anywhere that I've traveled to in the world, somehow, in the course of our meeting, somebody will bring it up to condole with me and the people of Ghana, and I get the impression that this, received, very wide, publicity across the world. On Friday, when I went to say my Jumu'ah prayers at the mosque in Parliament, there is a place that normally you find Murtala sitting if he gets to the mosque early. It's a particular spot, and I've stood there toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder with him on a few occasions. Yes, the week before, 2 weeks before, I got in when, the Imam was doing the khutbah. So I came to do my nafila. When I finished, I shook his hand, and then he wasn't ready. So after the prayer, he told me, when the Imam is doing khutbah, you don't talk, you don't do any gesture. So me and him, so but you see, beyond all these things, is government ready to really immortalize the memories of these fallen heroes? They died in the line of duty for a certain cause. That cause is still one that the government is still battling with, to the extent that, military officers come under attack, the full glare of the public, And I think that there's a lot that has to be done to deal with this situation. I know that the ICAO regulations don't apply to the military. That's a military aviation. But maybe some snipers of that information will be shared with us so that it will be a guide, to all those players in the aviation industry, and more importantly to the families, so they can get some closure to the circumstances under which their loved ones passed away.
So
but let me just make a quick one. The point that was raised by Neil and Van der Poel.
Yes.
You should go and read the Constitution. The High Court has original jurisdiction in dealing with judicial review matters. All right? And then on human rights matters, you should go and read Article 33.5, and you should go and read Article 141. You'll get better understanding of the point that I'm making.
All right. So Evans Dinko from Gary says, good morning, Moro. Do understand why we sometimes say the school you attended can have a negative or positive impact on your one's life. What happened yesterday in the vetting room was nothing but show of disrespect, ego and indiscipline one side, and show of principles of rule of law, leadership and patriotism on the other. And you can distinguish these characters by playing Harvard Law School versus Bradford University. The difference is clear. Moro, inform Edem to respond to my text. Anyway, so we just put something up on your screen shortly, and it's going to be a regular feature, hopefully, every Mondays. It's called Government This Week. So you see, today, in fact, yesterday, there was a report of the August 6 helicopter tragedy investigation presented to the National Security Council, and that's what we've just talked about. Today, Tuesday, November 11, details of the report will be made public at the media briefing. Wednesday, November 12, which is tomorrow, President Mahama will be launching the Nkoko Nkete Nkete program in Kumasi. And then on Thursday, November 13, 2026 budget, which brings with fair, far-reaching policy. Initiative will be read in Parliament by the Finance Minister.
Brought in about 11 taxes.
So we're waiting. We're waiting.
Finance Minister. Tell him to reduce the taxes.
Cabinet, I understand, we're finalizing a few things before the Finance Minister.
The taxes are too many.
It should bring out. It should take some out.
Taxes are too many.
All right. So
11 taxes.
Al-Hassan Tampoli.
We are removing lots of
Al-Hassan Tampoli is the MP.
We came to abolish
people of Gushewu. Eric Edemagbana is MP for Ketu North. My name is Aldo Moro. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across